Yes. People, mic check 1 2. How's everyone going this Thursday evening? It is now 7:34, about to turn 7:35 on the 24th. I hope everyone is doing well. Let me know how the sound is coming through on your end. I think everything's going through okay, but let me know how the audio is coming through. Is it coming clear? I hope you all are doing well. I can see a few people in the chat already. Please, if you're coming into the chat, if you are new, please make sure you subscribe. Please like the stream, share as well. Everything is appreciated over here. So let me just say what's up to the people before we continue into this live stream. And Socialite Podcast, Lady A, how's it going? Welcome. R&B, welcome. Hope everything's good. Stanley, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Was it early afternoon where you're at? So yeah, thanks for joining. If you're in the evening to yourself again. Hope everyone is doing well. So yeah, please let me know how the sound's coming through on your end. I think everything's coming through fine, but you know how these things are. I hope everything is all right. But oh man, man. How do I start? How do I begin this? But truth be told, I'll be honest with you, I had another live stream plan. I was going to talk about something different, but the powers that be, the YouTube algorithms that they are, you know how it is when you're hooked up to certain algorithms and certain content creators for other things, or some red pill stuff. Not gonna lie to you, you always see the drama, the beef that comes out the way. And I usually stay clear of it. I've done a few live streams talk about the Manosphere, but I kind of just stay clear. But this one, oh man, I had to get a piece of this. And man, I'm telling you, the whole situation, man, it's just too much jokes. This gives me too much jokes. And I thought, yeah, let me get a piece of this because it has to be done again from a UK standpoint, because obviously the person in question, Jessica X, we all know where she's from. And so I thought to myself, you know what, let me rearrange my schedule, rearrange the situation, and let's talk about the situation, because I find this whole situation just to be so revealing and telling on so many levels. It's not even funny. I mean, and the thing is with this situation, I'll say this. This ain't the first time and it won't be the last time that this particular situation will rear its ugly head. I'm just going to say it off the get-go. So it will likely die down. It's going to die down in a little while. And then give it a few weeks, give it a few months, it will come right back up. So we all know the reason what needs to take place for that to die down. And even still, I'm going to question it. But every so often, as things do, it's all cyclical in that space. So when you visit the Manosphere, you always realize things. If you've been in there a long enough time, I say give yourself a year, 6 months to a year, you realize their talking points, their beefs, the topics. I mean, let's be honest, everything is really, really cyclical anyway, because it's all about one thing, even though they claim that it's not. And that's one of the reasons why I have so many issues with the whole Manosphere, which was supposed to be about men, but whatever. But anyway, once you've been in that space for a few weeks, months, again, a year at the most, you already know exactly the play. You know what's going to be taking place. You know how it's going to work. You know the characters, or you may not know the characters, but you should do. And you always know how it's going to be. And this is no different. This is part of the cyclical cycle, because this isn't the first time that, so-called Jessica X has been exposed. There's been numerous content creators who have, tried to dox her, tried to do all this kind of other stuff. And, it's always funny because I'm going to say something to my Black American brothers and sisters, because I'm be honest with you, you have to take this L. You have to take this L when it comes to Jessica X. You have to take it, because never in my life have I seen such madness when it comes to one particular female, and you're gonna have to take this L. I'm gonna be clowning a little bit here. I'm declining because there's a couple of content creators who've done some things, and I'm gonna give you a little heads up, or a little tip. If you're gonna try and understand or find out where someone's from, or correlate or check, listen, just checking with some of the brothers and sisters who are in the UK, we can give you at least a couple of bit of tips, a couple of tips, just so you know exactly who and what, whether this actually makes sense or doesn't make sense. Because I'm going to show a couple of, a couple of the videos that was shown, but I was just like, already, if you had spoken to one Brit who actually lives in the UK and understands things, you would already know. We would already told you, no, that ain't her, or no, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Even though, again, you're not like, I'm going to expose. This ain't this stream for that kind of stuff. I don't even care. And this is the thing. When it comes to sides, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to pick a side, because truth be told, I don't mess with none of them. I don't mess with any of them, whether it be Jessica X or on the other side. And we're going to talk about both sides, because this is where for me, it exposes so many things on so many levels. And it's it's so crazy because I'm thinking to myself, hold on a second, hold on. This is supposed to be, let's start off with the obvious one, which let me know in the chat whether this is just me or not. But I've witnessed a few of her live streams. I've seen her around. I know like what she's about by now. I think I don't tune into any of it, most of her streams, but you know, the few of them pop up and you just see, and you pop in there for like 10, 15 minutes, then you go out, you know, it is. And then I'm thinking to myself, number one, what is the fascination with this woman? Serious. I'm like this. What is the fascination with this woman? I'm trying to understand in a red pill space in which men are supposed to be red pill aware. This again, this is what they tell me. So, yo, my American black brothers and sisters, tell me something. If you're in the chat, let me know. Because I don't understand. We don't understand. Again, I'm pretty sure the rest of you guys who are on this side of the pond, we don't understand. Please tell me, what is the fascination? I mean, let's take the obvious, because there's the obvious one, right? Her looks. She has a picture of, well, she had a couple of avatars that have been posted. I think she cycled through about a couple, 3 or something like that at all. And I'm just like this. Again, this is just me talking now. She looks all right, but she looks pretty standard for a mixed chick. Actually, I wouldn't say necessarily standard. She looks okay. And again, you can argue pictures are filtered. She's obviously got the right angles for it to get the right situation, the poses. But let's be honest. I'm just thinking to myself, if you guys are going crazy over just an avatar pic, which again, this is the whole reason why she gets called Catfish X and all this kind of other stuff. I'm like, number one, I'm pretty sure we've all watched Catfish on MTV back in the day. So you should already know not to fall in love with a picture. I know plenty of people who put avatars and we know for sure it ain't them. But of course, this is where the expose is coming into it. This is where everyone's trying to dox this, where everyone's trying to, you know, reverse trace the images on Google, trying to do all this kind of clever stuff. And I'm like, for starters, I'm thinking to myself, let's take it all the way back. What is the fascination with it? I don't get it. Again, okay, let's say you looked. All right, fine. What's the next thing in play? Her accent. Now, this is the funniest thing which kind of killed me the most. Because again, I'm going to go into this video and people in chat, what's up? Please make sure you like, share the stream, subscribe if you are new. And I 100% agree, Stoic. I'm going to play this video just a little bit because there's a couple of things which we already know what the issue is. But again, another reason why I'm just like this. All you needed to do was just check in with any Brit. Again, if you're on the female side and you don't like Jess X, you could have just checked in with a UK lady, one of the gal them. They would have told you, look, London sounds nothing like Huddersfield. I mean, it's a York, and the thing is about the UK. I remember seeing a post on the channel, and I was like, yep, the UK has the most diverse accents per capita than any English nation in the world. Any. You can go 5 miles north, 5 miles south, 5 miles east, west. You will hear a different accent. Now, of course, Americans only are used to one type of accent, or maybe a couple, but really it's that Southern London posh type accent, or maybe the Roman Southern accent, but only really 2. But I'm like this. I guarantee if an American was to hear a Scouser or Geordie, a Manc, or someone from Bristol or someone like that, they'll be like, what accent is this? Where are you from? I guarantee on God, that's how, or even from Birmingham, for example, that's how different the accents are in the UK. It's like confusing someone from, I don't know, maybe Louisiana from someone to NYC. It don't even correlate. It don't even correlate. But anyway, here's where we are. Something like this. So, okay, it's the voice. So apparently her voice must be like ASMR because sick. Okay. I gotta disagree with you here. And this is what I need to understand. How can you say that when you don't even know what she looks like? You are going off an avatar. How can you say that she looks better than any of these chicks when you don't even know exactly what she looks like? This is the craziest thing about, this is the men now. This is the men. I'm going to get to women in a second because they're culpable as well for the BS that they've been doing. How the hell can you say, oh, she looks better than this, when I'm like, hold on a second, you've not seen her at all. You've not seen her. You ain't seen her. A picture of her avatar. We all know about pictures nowadays, the filters. We all know about the angles, the lighting. We all know about this kind of stuff in this day and age, 2022. So are you going to go out on a limb and say she looks better than someone who you don't even see on camera at all? Come on now. I want to say, you guys, if you are red pill, you're smarter than that. But clearly, my American brothers and sisters, you aren't red pill. You really aren't. You can't be that red pill. But anyway, But yeah, so there's only two options I can think of as to why this woman gets so much airtime. Number one, again, her looks, again, that's only going off her avatar. And then number two, which this seems to be the craziest thing, which is her voice. And again, I'll have to, I understand that some of the accents, it works well over there, it travels well, but if you're going off a voice, then there's a word for that. Well, it may be ASMR for them, I don't know, but there's for me, it just sounds a bit like, what's it called? Femdom, financial domination. It's just like, because when I go on her live chat, and again, this is no shade, no hate to her. Again, like I said, I have no sides on this one. I don't have any side. I don't care for either of them. It is what it is. But I just had to comment on this one. Go for it. Let me get a piece of this. Let me talk about this, because it's just been on my timeline for ages. I'm just like, when I go into a live chat, it don't matter what stage, you'll see all these people again. The men, they'll be thirsting. You sound so good. Oh, da 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 da, super chatting, all this kind of other stuff. I'm thinking, man, that voice really goes well. So this is a content strategy for both guys and ladies. If you can pander, because this is another thing as well, which kind of kills me with the guys, and we're going to get into it now, is if you're able to pander to whichever side of the group, then do you know what? You are likely to get a hell of a lot of market over there, because they will support you. They will support, like, I got to give them credit, man. They support it like crazy. And I'm just like, man. But again, this is one of the things which kind of kills me. I wanted to play this video because there's so many angles that we can take here, but let me just go to the most recent video, which everyone's been talking about. Everyone's been saying this is confirmation, and this is another thing as well. I would love to know exactly what goes in the minds of people when they actually think this is actually doxing someone. Even the whole doxing, is it really that serious? I'm like this. I'm thinking to myself, is it really that serious that you hate another individual who you don't know? You don't know if that person's her. I mean, this is the thing. There's so many unknowns about this individual. Really, any individual online. Let's be honest. Even me, any individual online, there's so many unknowns about that person, unless you know that person personally. But again, if that was the case, this wouldn't even be an issue. But there's so many unknowns that my thing is this: why are you so fussed and so bothered by somebody who you don't even know, especially who's thousands of miles all the way across the Atlantic? It's just like, when you really put it into context, I'm sitting there I'm laughing my head off thinking, this is why my thumbnail is, you had the, if you see the thumbnail of this live stream, I put obviously Queen of the Manosphere, because how is it possible that this woman here, real talk, how is it possible that she's been able to pretty much ascend herself higher than most male content creators in a space regarding red pill content? Make that make sense. This is why I'm going to say this before I play the clip. You know what I mean? Whenever a woman, and again, you red pillars, you should know this. Whenever females are 100% on your side when it comes to your issues, red flag number one, it's not in the woman's DNA for some of the issues that we talk about for her to be on your side. I don't care what she said. I don't care how logical she is. I don't care about all this kind of stuff. I'm sorry. Whenever you see someone like that, I don't know why you guys aren't really reading these red flags. But again, this is all on you guys. I mean, again, like I said, I have absolutely no dog in this fight. I really couldn't care, but I thought, bro, this is way too funny. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the stream. Thank you all for joining. Subscribe if you are new. But let me just comment on this video then. So this is the video which has come up. This is the Chris Logic video. So I'm just going to play a part of it. It's a long video, so I ain't going to play all of it. But I'm pretty sure you've probably all seen it. If you've not, but if you haven't, then yeah, by all means, you can go to a channel. You can look at this video. But you type in Jessica X exposed, and you're probably one of the first ones that come up. So I'm just going to play it here because there's a couple of things that I wanted just to point out. But already, look at this. So this is a stream. This is Jessica X's stream, and already you got a super chat for $100, pretty much. But look at this. Look at the first comment here. Look at this. Kevin sucks, but Jessica, I must say you have a great voice. Sorry, I'm an adult and I want to make and control my own money. I mean, this is the craziest thing. This is what I mean. I'm telling you, her voice, how she speaks, how she, enunciates her words. This must be what it is. It's a form of financial domination. It's that ASMR. It drives them crazy. So logic for guys, it goes straight out the window. I'm like, man, it's crazy. And again, don't know who she is from a can of paint. But like I said, that's his money. He can do what he wants to do. But it's just, when you look at it, it's just hilarious. But let's play this. Oh, What am I saying? What am I saying? What am I saying? We gotta do it. This. We gotta do it. There. We gotta do it. There. We gotta do this. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. All right, bring me a second. Take this off now. All right, fair use, fair use.
Encounter with her, which I will go into later on in the video. But that encounter actually prompted me to put on my Inspector Gadget hat and go digging to see if I could find out who the real Jessica X is. So
Right, so I just want to pause it there because I don't know whether people caught the backstory to this, but her and Chris Logic have already had beats before. She was on her panel and they've been going at it and etc. like that before. So this is where she's talking about after our incident or after our conversation. She went inspector mode or Spectre Morse and decided to try and investigate. So just for the backstory for people who don't know.
since she claims that Black women are all these negative stereotypes and that she's the antithesis, she should be able to prove it in her real life and be the example that she wants Black women to follow, right? So, guys, I'm not gonna lie. When I was going into this, I was not optimistic because in my head, I'm like, Jessica has been on YouTube for years and no one has been able to successfully dox her. So maybe she's covered her tracks so well where it would be impossible or at least super hard to track her. Guys, when I say after about 3, 4 hours worth of digging, I found her family, I found out where she used to work, I even found pictures of her son. Yes, y'all heard me right. Miss Jessica X, Miss All Black Women Are Single Baby Mamas, is a single baby mama her damn self. So
Right. So you heard it there. So apparently, after all the investigation, she's found her obviously her name, her family, her workplace, and yes, apparently now Jessica X is a single mother of kids. So all this kind of stuff that she's been chatting in regards to typical content about single baby mothers, Black women this, Black women that, looks like she's a massive hypocrite. Let's continue. Let's see. Let's see what the reveal looks like.
So, guys, let me walk you through exactly how I obtained this information and exactly what I discovered. And disclaimer, nothing I'm doing in this video is illegal. I repeat, nothing that I'm doing in this video is illegal. All the information that I'm sharing with you guys is public information on the real Jessica X's profile, which is completely legal to share. I just so happen to put two and two together and connect the profiles, but this is all public information that everyone has access to. So, once again, I repeat, nothing that I'm doing here is illegal. So, step number one, I
All
use
right, I'm just going to forward this. So apparently 2+2. So she's going to talk through how she managed to hack into etc. And get into the basically a profile and in Twitter, LinkedIn, all that kind of good stuff. So let's take it from here because we don't need to hear about that kind of nonsense.
and that goes by the name Jessica X, and the at name is Jessica underscore XX. Now, this particular account caught my attention the most because I saw that the user hadn't been active since 2019. And when you see this, that could be a sign that this is an old account or that the creator has forgotten the password to the account and they're locked out. Now, if someone hasn't used an account in that long, it's not that far fetched to think that maybe the person has lost access to their account and that's why they're not using it. And also, that's why they're not taking it down because they don't have access to it. So I had a hunch and I went with it. Now, I started scrolling through this Twitter account, and the first thing that I noticed was the location was in Huddersfield. So I Googled where this location was, and looky here. Huddersfield is a town in the United Kingdom. Isn't Jessica from the UK?
You know what's so funny when I saw this video? And I didn't watch it all, but I got to like here and I just started. I was creasing. I was creasing because there's two things here which is so ironic. And again, I'm sorry, you have to hold this L for this one. Now, number one, she said 2 and 2 together. She's gonna put 2 and 2 equals 4. So she's gonna put 2 and 2 together. So that stereotypical thing where we're gonna make things dead logical and simple, and we're gonna make sure that it all adds up. And I'm just like this. Number one, Jessica is a real popular name. So just because you find a Twitter account that says Jessica X, that does not mean that that has to relate to that person. There are so many names that it could be. It could even relate to. It's unbelievable. I mean, when everyone's done a Hotmail account or a Gmail account and you actually put in your own name, I guarantee you someone will say that name has already exists. So you have to put your name, then 123, or your name, or some sort of characters, or something like that to distinguish yourself. Because lo and behold, now people, there's more than one person with the exact same name. Even your surname sometimes. I'm surprised. I've done it for my own names. When you try and put your full name and nothing else for email addresses, usernames, at names, I guarantee it, most of the time, unless it's something really unique, and I give it credit, but Jessica's not unique, guess what? It's going to say somebody already has that name. So I'm just thinking to myself, the first mistake was just because it said Jessica X doesn't mean that it is. Then the second mistake, which made me crease even more, is this: the Huddersfield. Wow. So she managed to find something that's in England. Wow. Case closed. Wrap everything up. I'm just like, is this what caused him? Is this what investigation is? Is this what it really is? I'm just thinking to myself, oh, it just goes back to my what is the fascination when it comes to Jessica X? Because again, there's so many other content creators in my humble estimation, who are so much better than Jessica X. I'm talking about on the female side in regards to talking about Red Pill content, who come up, who actually has content and actually could argue has more, I won't say more inflammatory content, because this is one of the reasons why I think she has the most amount of beef when it comes to the ladies. But let me continue here. But it made me laugh when I thought, oh my days, two things they found, and automatically it was like game, set, match. I've got her. But let's continue. Let's see what else they found. Again, fair use, fair use, fair use.
Also, you see from this picture that this is a biracial woman. Definitely not the same woman in the Jessica X photo, but a biracial woman from the UK calling herself Jessica X nonetheless. So I kept scrolling through this Twitter page and I came across another very interesting piece of information, and that's this Jessica girl with her father. And as we can see from the pictures, this is a biracial woman going by the name Jessica X that lives in the UK and that we also know now, according to this picture, has a black father, just like Jessica.
Now, is it just me? But two things here. That he don't look black. He does not look black. Is it just me? But he does not look black. I mean, let me know. I mean, again, this is where sometimes Americans, you guys have a different variation of black than what we will call over in the UK, but we will not call that guy a black guy. I need to see more photos of him, which I don't want to really care about it. But just looking at this photo, he does not look black. And even the biracial thing or the mixed thing, there's so many mixed people in the UK. It's crazy. Again, personally, when I see a lot of mixed women, they all look the same to me. When they all have that same look and do. I'm like, a lot of them look very, very similar. I'm not gonna hold you. When I see a lot of mixed women, they look very, very samey to me. I don't know whether anyone wants to experience that, but a lot of mixed women like all look the same. Obviously, that's not true, but you get what I'm trying to say. But you see what I mean when it comes to a lot of these. I'm gonna stop it right here because I'm not gonna play all of it because I can't be asked. I can't be asked with it because I thought to myself, this is just crazy. But this is the lengths that people go to, and when also I looked at the feedback, and you can look at the comment section in that video, and you can just see how everyone's pretty much saying, "Oh, case closed. Oh, she's a baby mother." Because also apparently her age is now 30, so I think she's like 25, and I think she's 25, but now she's 30. And I'm just like this. There's so much holes in that story, but the reason why there's so many holes is because, truth be told, they just don't really care about if it's true or not. All they want is her to unveil herself, so they want to put pressure on her, which is, again, that's what it is. And then it's just like this. They think they can put pressure on it, and then that means that someone else can be revealed. And I'm like this, there's so much wrong to that, because also this is a form of online bullying. Because there's another incident that took place, I think it was a year ago, where this woman she had a YouTube channel and they thought that was Jessica X. Again, different accent, she looked different, wasn't even the same person. And I'm just like, the women bullied her to a point where she was in tears. She went over to Jessica X in tears. And I'm like, these are meant to be females who will talk about the sisterhood, because that's who this is who apparently doxed the sisterhood. And this is what kind of kills me. And I'm going to say this. This is where I'm going to say this. If Jessica X, you listening, I'm just going to keep it real with you here. This is really your fault a lot of times. And the reason I say this is your fault, and this is why I don't have a fight, and I don't have any sympathy for any sides. And I'm going to say why I don't. When it comes to Jessica X's situation, I don't have sympathy because a lot of the situations she causes on herself, because her content, unlike some of the other female content creators, because remember I said this, and I stick to this, and this is why I don't understand the infatuation with her. She doesn't have content. When you look at female content creators who really are on the side of holding women accountable, which is fine, which is what they should be doing, because that is true. They need to be held accountable. Danica Marie, Six the Goddess, Chantel Simone, those women there, they came up number one. But number two, if you look at their content, they actually have talking points. Jessica X don't have any talking points. She just had beef. She started her own channel by beefing with content creators. She started beefing with Chrissy, beefing with the divestors, which is where Chris Logic. This is why this is why these videos come out. So I'm going to be honest with you. I have no sympathy for her. So this is not me caping for anyone. I'm just being honest. This is where I stand. I don't have sympathy. I don't have sympathy for their divestors because of what they say. Don't get me, no, or the swirlers, whatever acronym or name that they want to go by. I have no sympathy, but I definitely don't have sympathy for Jessica X. Her whole content is beef, whether it be beef with Fresh and Fit, beef with the divestors, beef with anyone who disagrees with Kevin Samuels. All her content is just beef. She has no actual content, and it's not as if what she says is anything unique. But again, that's why I'm like, what's the infatuation with this woman? She says nothing new. She says she only beefs. That's all it really is. That's all it really is. And then these guys just going crazy over it. I'm like, look, it is what it is. I can't, you guys you go visit what you want to do. It's like any sort of channel. You go visit what you want to visit. It is what it is. It's just, the whole channel is just based on beef. So if she really wants to know what's going on, then she has to look in the mirror and say, look, you've caused this on yourself because you've built your channel beefing and arguing and going to other people's panel and fussing. And I'm just like this. Again, Red Pill guys, my American brothers, here, let me ask you this question. Isn't that kind of activity more of a masculine trait? Isn't that what you guys call masculine? I mean, if Jessica X was maybe, I don't know, dark skin and had an American accent, wouldn't you consider that to be more of a masculine trait as opposed to a feminine trait? Would you not think that's the case? But what is it? Is it because of her voice, her light skin? She's mixed. I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense, but it all makes sense because guess what? When it comes to certain situations with Red Pill guys, as you all know, and even when it comes to divestors, which I'm going to just talk about in a second, when it comes to women who they do like, that goes out the window. Whatever red pill, whatever red flags that they want to look at, whatever sort of criteria that look at, that goes right out the window. I thought this for a long time, and this is Jessica X has proven it all out, just how fragile that whole space is. A light-skinned woman, a different accent, and these guys go absolute bananas. And I'm just thinking to myself, again, I got no beef with Jessica X. As far as I'm concerned, if she is real or fake, I don't care. But say she's fake, I'm going to say this. Run that check. I'm going to answer it. Run all their pockets clean. Run it clean. You saw the super chat just when I played the video, $100. She gets that consistently. Obviously not $100, but she gets bare super chats from all these guys. Bare super chats. I'm saying this to Jessica. Keep it going. I'm not saying stop. I'm saying keep it going. If you've got a niche and these guys are actually paying their money for whatever reason, even if you are pandering or not, I don't care. Keep that shit going, because at the end of the day, red pillars, if you are red pill, this is how you actually expose them. But again, they don't really care. But that's what I'm saying. When I look at that space, there's so many things I want to say about that space, which I can't be asked with because I just don't care for it too much. But Jessica X is a prime example about how a space which is meant to be for black men, bro, that shit goes out the window the moment a light skin, a pretty avatar, and definitely a British accent. So any lady who fits that bill in the chat, you know what to do. Run it up. Run it up. And I wouldn't have I have no problems with it at all. Zero problems. So when I see all these other content creators come out the work, people don't like Melanie King, all that kind of stuff, I have no problem with that. Look, at the end of the day, you brothers are the ones who are paying and validating these women. You really are. Because at the end of the day, you're their main supporters. It's not the women, it's the men, it's the brothers. So I'm saying this. At the end of the day, another content creator said this, and I have to agree with the person. The market decides. The market has decided. And I'm going to say this. Keep it going. Keep it going. Don't even stop. So again, like I said, I have her channel for me. I even if I want to listen to content like that, which I do from time to time, she doesn't have any content for me. And even in terms of looks, I'll keep it honest. I think content creators like Six the Goddess is a lot more attractive than Jessica X. Again, you see her on camera. You know what she looks like. She has content. But that's just me. That's just me. I mean, I just think she's okay. She's not bad looking, but to go crazy like this, I don't see it. But let me get to the other side, because this is the reason why, again, this is why she's getting the heat she's getting. And again, if she wants to know why she's getting the heat, she should know. But again, like I said, she brought it on herself. So she can't be immune to understanding what's going on. So if she has someone in a corner, if she doesn't know, I'm going to tell you why it is. Again, you beef with all these content creators. You beef with all of them. And they're going to come back at you. If you're going to dish out these things, then guess what? You're going to have to take it. And again, she takes it very well. I'm not going to lie to you. But this is what's going to happen, because let's be honest, and this is one of the things where I look at the divestors. The divestors are another crazy batch of women who they don't know where they're coming or going. They don't know what they're doing, but they're a crazy, crazy batch. I mean, that Chris Logic content creator, she used to do different content, but again, now she's happened to go on a niche talking about divestment. And listen, all those content creators over there are just, listen, they're all just nut bags, and it is what it is. And the ironic thing about this whole situation is they promote their women divesting, dating white boys, etc., etc. And I thought to myself, newsflash, the product of that union, the product of that relationship is whom? What does that product look like? Can anyone tell me? What is the product of a black woman with a non-black man, and let's say a white person? What is the product of it? It is they call them biracial. It is a mixed woman or a mixed man, but let's say it's a woman. It's a mixed woman. So what's kind of interesting is you're pretty much going or beefing with the epitome of what your union, what you're promoting. And this is what kind of kills me. And there's so many ways which I can interpret this. The first way is this. Number one, they must be jealous because they have what they don't have. She has, again, I'll say that pure light skin, not light skin black, but she's mixed light skin. So she has that actual light skin that they're looking for. She has probably the straight hair that they're looking for. So clearly there's some jealousy there. Judging by, if you listen to watch the comments, if you look at the videos where they go in on Jessica X, a lot of times I do think it's a self-esteem / jealousy issue here, where they see basically they want to be her, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, she's getting all the attention from the brothers over there in that space. She's getting all the super chats, and she's not had to cam up or do anything. Now I'm going to keep it real. Men have also been on her case, so this ain't just what divest is, but this is just the current situation that's unfolded with this situation here. But men have been on her case in regards to this, because again, also there's a bit of jealousy there, because she ain't saying anything different than what the guys are saying. Matter of fact, she's saying the exact same thing. She's doing the exact same thing that a lot of these guys are doing, but yet, and also there's an argument which I agree with them, that they put her on. They helped her, and then in regards to whether the favor was returned, then I let them deal with that kind of stuff. But I hear what they're saying. I hear it. So it's not just the women, but in terms of the divestors, I always think myself, it's so ironic seeing divestors of all people attacking this mixed race woman, when I thought to myself, you're going to have a lot more of those mixed race women out there if you continue with your agenda, if you continue with the rhetoric about, you know what, we shouldn't be dating this, we shouldn't be dating that, and that kind of stuff. And I thought to myself, what do you think these mixed people potentially could be like? You don't think that because you keep on extolling, whiteness and lightness as on a pedestal, that they're not going to feel themselves as being above everybody else? You don't think that's what's likely to happen? Because this is what sometimes, not all, I'm going to give it credit, sometimes it happens. When we all know what happens with lighter skin in the black communities, we all know what happens there when it comes to colorism. These conversations are old as the day is dusk. But this is the whole point. I'm like, I find the whole thing ironic, just thinking about divestors beefing with a mixed race girl. People, it's just like, it makes zero sense. Well, I don't say it makes zero sense, but it's just the irony never ceases to amaze me. And this is why I'm just like, I'm sitting in the cut, just laughing my head off. I'm laughing at the investigatory skills because it's just BS. I'm laughing at all the guys in general. I mean, listen, this is why when I say this, look, serious, Jessica X, I have zero problems with it. I have zero problems with what you're doing. I mean, do I think you're real? Yeah, yes. Do I think you are what the picture's saying? I'm not too sure. Let's be honest. And this is another thing. If she was, she would have cammed up ages ago. Even if it was for just one video, even if it was for a couple of seconds, she would have done herself up. She would have made it look like she needed to make it look like, and she would have cammed up. Simple. I mean, but there is one thing which I will agree on, what she did say in her video that in response to Chris Logic, is there is an element here, and this is where the Manosphere get a lot of tag of being incel stalkers. So there is an element of truth here. But then again, someone said this, which is true. She has an avatar, so what's the difference if she just cams up? But there's an element here of safety. And there is an element here of people are crazy. Just people are just crazy. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I don't know how you guys or people can find content creators who you don't know from a can of paint, thousands and thousands of miles across the Atlantic. I don't know how this person can get so much in your head, especially when she's only relevant by responding or beefing with your content. Again, she beefs with Chrissy, she beefs with Chris Logic, she beefs with Shira 7. She beefs with content creators who actually produce content. She has no content by herself. It's not like someone comes after her straight away. She comes after them first. So again, if you really want to be fair and balanced, that's what I said, I have no sympathy for her. She has no content. But this is the problem. But the thing is, with that being said, I also don't agree with the fact of, because I've seen people getting doxxed, their workplace being doxxed, their address being doxxed, their family members being doxxed. And all of this, when you boil it down to it, is about a difference of philosophy on YouTube. A difference of philosophy on YouTube. At the end of the day, if you are so much at odds with somebody else, you'll probably do a video here or there, but that's it. That's it. You move on. You move on with your life. But the fact of the matter is that it keeps on coming up, keeps on coming up, keeps on coming up. It definitely shows so many different sides to people, which I understand why. And this is why Jess X, she said this in the video, that she ain't gonna come up. So whatever hopes and dreams that you brothers and sisters had of her coming up, because for whatever reason, whatever, I don't think she's gonna do that. And here's the thing: sometimes I'm like, fair play to her, because this kind of situation here, it's not going to help her feel comfortable, or anyone for that matter feel comfortable and safe, because this is not what they want to do. They want to expose her. They want to obviously critique her. I mean, here's the thing again: she's done her fair share of critiquing women's looks. So again, this is where sometimes I'm going to say this to you. That's hypocritical just for you to say this, and then no one can really say the same thing to you. That's why sometimes even me, I sort of dial back on certain things, because you know what I mean? If I don't put myself out there like that, I also expect the same in kind. So again, this is why I keep saying I have no sides, I have no sympathy. As far as I'm concerned, they can go at each other until it all explodes or implodes, which, to be honest with you, a lot of the Manosphere is doing right now. It's just ridiculous. And lady, I'm going to say something to this, because I disagree with that. The whole camera argument, simply you can't refute the talking points. Talking points when it comes to red pill, a lot of it has to do with appearance. So a lot of times, if you're going to critique someone's appearance, fine. But also, it's kind of respectful if they are showing themselves out there, if they are camming up on a regular basis, that you do it the same way. Because at the end of the day, again, stones, glass, throwing stones in glass doors, all that kind of other good stuff. I don't think that is necessarily an argument, which means you can't refute the talking points. There are some situations here where, because you don't cam up, you're safe under the impression that you can say whatever the hell you want to say and it not come back at you. This is why I'm just going to say this. I don't mind if people want to criticize someone for their looks, fine. But this is why when people say cam up, you can't be too, oh my God, you can't refute my points. No. It's not that. There's certain situations where less fair is fair, isn't it? But again, this is why I say I don't have a side in this. I don't have any sort of I'm on that side and that side. I don't care for either of them. I don't watch any of their content or anything like that at all. It just is what it is. But again, look, if you're going to criticize someone that hard, if you're going to go at someone that hard, especially people who do cam up and they all put themselves out there, then yeah, absolutely, you are going to have to put yourself out there. Again, just one time. Sometimes it's not like it's a case of it has to be every day or every single time, but hell, one time. That's why, again, I have the utmost respect for people who put themselves out there like that. That's why sometimes I'm like, again, I'll say certain things, but certain things I relax on. But again, certain people, it's just like they have no mercy. And then when things come back at them, they're always like, oh, you just can't refute my talking points. You're crying. That's what it is. You crying. And this is what a lot of times that happens. You're crying. But yeah, just look at this whole situation. I'm just like, and when we talk to the Manosphere, let me talk to you, Manosphere brothers and sisters, about this situation as well. Because this also, to me, shows just the ease in which you guys are manipulated by. And this is another thing which a content creator by the name of, and I don't know if it's because they think they have a chance with Jess X. I've got zero clue. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Again, there's certain things I hear, which again, I don't keep my ears to the pulse because I don't really care about that kind of stuff. But there's certain things where I'm just like, do you really think you have a shot with this woman at all? Because this is how it seems. And I'm like, surely being red pill, you'd understand exactly certain things which she's gonna want the validation and attention, but she ain't liking you, she ain't want you. And I'm just like, even she said herself, Jessica said herself, that she ain't traveling all them 1,000 miles just to get with someone across the Atlantic. It just ain't happening. But again, like I keep saying, look, the market decides. Like I keep saying, I've got no hate. If that's the case and they like you, absolutely, you keep doing what you're doing. You take all them finances, you take all of that, go do it. And there's one last thing. I'm gonna open up the panel. I want to see what everyone's saying about this situation. Of course, we'll keep it respectful. But there's one thing I've noticed. Now, this is an observation. This is not me pocket watching, as I say. This is not me just, coming at somebody for making their finances. It is what it is. You can do what you want to do in terms of receiving and distributing. If someone gives, they give out their own heart. It is what it is. If you want to give, likewise. But the situation I've seen Jessica X actually super chat, I'm like this. she will get $100, $50, $10, $20, all that kind of stuff. But you know when you see super chats and other content creators, it'll be like no more than £5. Check it out. I've seen certain things. I'm thinking, oh my days, she gets bank, she gets peas off of these brothers, and yet when she goes into their live stream to give a donation, it's literally less than 10% of what she receives. I'm just like, again, look, it's not like she has to do anything. A donation is a donation. Whatever you can afford to give, you can give it. I just find that interesting. I'm not. It's an observation, people. It's an observation. But it's just, you know, when you see that situation, you think, bro, you guys are getting taken. And I'm thinking, at what stage do you actually click that you guys are getting taken? But when I see her in the comments and I see her super chat, honest to God, I'm like, bro, sis, I know you get more than that in your super chats. But again, listen, I can keep saying she's running up that bill on you guys, and she's doing a good job of it. A good job of it. And again, I don't get it because, in my humble opinion, there are a lot more prettier content creators in that space who talk the same stuff that you guys want to hear, who come up on a regular basis, and probably, especially if you guys in the US, which majority of you guys are in that sort of space, you can actually get at if you really want to get at someone like that. But what can I say? What can I say? That's just that's just the way things are. But there's just there's so many things to say about this. A lot of it is jealousy when it comes to the female side. Even on the male side, there's been a lot of jealousy because, again, it's not like the males have not done this. There's another content creator by the name of, or another content creator, a male content creator, who tried to expose her OnlyFans account. And again, it's like, now he did a better job because he was able to narrow it down to London. So at least he's able to narrow it down to a city, at least. But even still, it's like New York City. Just because you're a content creator in New York City doesn't mean that everybody else is the exact same person because they're mixed. It makes no sense. There's loads of mixed people in NYC. There's loads of people in London, black or mixed for that matter at all. But again, this is the kind of investigating skills I see from those brothers and sisters on that side of the pond. I'm like, look, just a little heads up. Just speak to any one of your Brit UK brothers and sisters, and they'll give you a little, this makes more sense. This doesn't make any sense. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. That's really what it comes down to. But link is in the chat, folks. So let me know how you see the situation. How you saw the situation unfolding. All you, I say what side you really on. I mean, you can tell me what you want to tell, but I find the whole situation to just be hilarious. And I thought to myself, this is on one side, this exposes the fragility of a red pill space. I mean, listen, there's a massive internal war going on in regards to how women should be treated in the space, in regards to whether they should be leading the space, not leading the space, how much of a role they should play in the space. One thing is for certain. One thing for certain is I would feel a certain way. I'm going to be honest with you. I would feel a certain way if a female content creator in a male space says the exact same thing that most males are saying, and she's getting 3-4 times the amount of views, subscribers, super chats. I would feel the same way. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not because I'm jealous, but just because it kind of nullifies your red pill talking points. It kind of nullifies the whole point of a male space. This is the whole point. It's more the principle more than anything else, because people talk about talking points all they want, but I'm just like this. You guys it really does show a lot in regards to a space which is meant to be for males first. Of course, females are allowed, and yet a female content creator who has when I say that same talking point, I'm trying to think of anything unique or anything different which some of these female content creators have brought to the space. You know how you have different phrasing words that males use to describe certain situations. We all know some of them, 304s, German shepherds, and all this kind of other sort of talking points. I'm like, some of these women, I'm like, what kind of iconic things have they, or even new things that they brought to the space? And it's just like, how is it when you look at that situation? I'd be like, I would feel a certain type of way just to be thinking, how is it possible that this woman can get there? But then again, it all makes sense when you realize a lot of them are actually blue pill. They're not actually red pill at all, or red pill away, or whatever you want to call it, or purple pill, or whatever the flipping pills are. They're all stupid anyway. But it always cracks me up. And a lot of these guys be super chatting, doing all this kind of other stuff. And again, like I said, you can do what you want to do. Your money, your time, your effort. It's your situation, it's your life. As that person says, that person in super chat was like, "Oh, I'm trying, my best to do this, but your voice. I'm like, fair enough then. That must be their Achilles heel. Because again, she hasn't cammed up. She hasn't shown herself. A couple of avatars she cycled through. That's about it. And there it is. So again, you don't know who this person is. It could be a catfish. It could be anyone else. But truth be told, it really doesn't matter. So that's why I'm just like, it really, for me, to show so many levels on the male side and on the female side. I mean, you look so bad. So bad. So bad. So bad. And you know what? Fiona, you are right here, and this is another side way as well in regards to the whole situation, which cracks me up because so many platforms have required people to turn their cameras on, and it's funny enough. You actually remind me of the situation with the saint and the sinner. Another situation where again Jessica X, she makes her presence known again, and to beef and argue in regards to the whole. I think it was a Kevin Samuel situation with the saint and the sinner, and I'm like this again. For me, isn't this more of a masculine trait to be going around beefing, going around on people's panels, arguing, going around on people trying to defend? It's like, isn't that more of a quote of a masculine trait? But again, you guys, you love it because guess what? Oh, she's on our side. I'm like, these are just idiots. But anyway, so as usual, everyone else puts their camera on. Of course, Jessica X doesn't have a camera on at all. And I'm just like, you see what I mean? So not only, but it's the thing, they allow it. Same with Kevin Samuels. I don't think she had her camera on, but again, they allow it. So they allow these things to happen. So a lot of these things, I'm saying, she's the queen of the manosphere because you have allowed this to take place. You have allowed it to take place. You've let it fester, and now it's too late. You see, if you've nipped it in the bud if you quelled it at the start, if you've quelled it, I guarantee it, this will not be an issue. But because you didn't, you let it ride, let it fester. Now it's not even just a little seed, it's a massive oak tree that seems to be here for hundreds and hundreds of years. And not only is she lapping most of you guys who have, for my opinion, better talking points, better creativity, better artistry, better everything. She's lapped all of you guys. I mean, we don't know what sub count is, but again, I don't want to be talking about this kind of stuff because people say, "Oh, you pocket checking, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing that." I'm like, really, really, really. So I'm just like, I find it so hilarious. Now, Stoic, okay, please talk me through it. Please talk me through the nuances. I must not understand the nuances because are you talking about, is that I'm assuming that's sarcasm, right? Because it has to be sarcasm, really, because I'm thought the nuances are she's probably well connected with some of the people in the space, which means she gets a bit more protection, but not too much protection right now. Let's be honest, she's a little bit fragile. You know what I mean? Her thing's a little bit fragile right now. So I don't know how much protection she's getting. So, I mean, let me know. I mean, you say that, but come on, Stoic. You and I both know. You and I both know who the queen of the manosphere is. If you was to say this to anybody, who's the queen of the manosphere, what names are going to pop up? Now, there may be no official title, but if you was to say that as a joking manner or say that even in a serious manner, you and I both know. You and I both know whose name will pop up. Even in my head, I'm thinking of all the names, and yeah, her name will be top one, the top one. So when you say that, my bro, I don't know if you've drank the KA grape drink that these brothers have been drinking over there, which makes them enamored with Jessica X. Let me know, because again, it's cool if it is, but I just don't even understand it at all. And so yeah, when he said, no queens, no all this kind of other stuff, I say BS to that. Irrespective. I mean, look, I understand what you're saying. She's been attacked within the space loads of time, da 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 da. But let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Do you know how much leeway that she's gotten in the space? And again, and I'll say this is what I said beforehand. The reason why she's been attacked a lot of times is because of she brought it on herself, not with the coming up stuff, not even that, but because again, she beefs with everyone. She's one of the main instigators of beefing in the space. Some of them more than the brothers do. Okay, again, you guys will love it because she's attacking and beefing, the ladies that you don't love. So you love it all the time. But this is why she gets attacked. And obviously, when it comes to some of the male content creators, we know why she gets attacked, because really, truly, they're attacking you, brothers, because you guys are blindly listening and blindly doing this. And it's just like, you would expect so much more from another content creator than you do for her at times. It's crazy. When I see some of the things that she gets away with, again, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You and I both know someone else. No. They won't even patronize her in the slightest. It wouldn't even be like that. And that's what kind of kills me the most. But again, like I said, I don't really care about it too much. I thought I'd comment on this situation because I find the whole thing hilarious. I find it hilarious. And one thing I do want to say about my American brothers and sisters is, look, just because you're from the UK, don't mean that everyone knows each other, number one. And number two, that it means that, again, like we said, all she did in that video was Huddersfield, that's the time in England, case closed. I was like, serious. It's just mad. It's just mad. So I'm like, look, again, when you do situations like this, just come and just chat to the man them, chat to the gal them. You'll understand exactly whether you're on the right track or the wrong track. It's just, I find the whole situation quite hilarious at the time. That's what I mean. I was creasing the whole time. I wasn't even stressing about it. I thought, you know what, for the algorithm, let me talk about this. So right now there are 90 people in the chat, 20 people in the chat. Please make sure that you like the stream, share the stream, subscribe if you are new. Or downvote it, dislike it. That's not a problem at all. If you don't like it, it is what it is. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Jesse, how's it going?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, well, what's
Like
good, man? What's good?
I've been watching um this been unfolding, and this is why the Black Manosphere is a joke, right? I used to be part of it, and that's why I basically left like years ago because like people first off, the Black Manosphere was meant to be a female space. Right? No, I
Sorry,
mean a
sorry.
male space.
All right, okay, yeah, yeah.
Right? It was meant to be a male space, yeah. And to be honest, there was a good live stream I watched by a YouTuber called Ringo TV, right? Black Male Advice TV, right? And I was watching his live stream today, and basically females run the Black Manosphere, bro. I've been saying this for time. Like the females are more successful in the Black Manosphere than the actual guys,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
right? And this is the problem with this is the problem with the Black Manosphere. This is why I actually left. Like time ago, I used to have a channel. I got rid of it because I just got fed up of the beefing. Like we weren't like people weren't building there, and so on and so forth, right? And it's like, how are you gonna allow? Like for me, I ain't got no really beef with Jessica X or anything like that, or any of these female content creators, because really, in my opinion, I blame the men for this. Right? Is how are you allowing a faceless person, yeah, come into your space? Plus, she's female, right? And basically become one of the best, right? When it's meant to be a male space,
And that's
right?
that is the question, isn't it, Jesse? Because of course YouTube is YouTube, so you can put out content, you can do this kind of stuff. That's fine, and someone can subscribe to your content, and you can't really control it. But it's just I know what you're saying. The Manosphere brothers, they go over to that space and they bigger up into it, bigger than the males.
Right. And the thing I've been trying to explain to somebody, I've been saying this for time from like some of these people in the Black Manosphere, right? Is the most of these women are just using you. Basically, here's how the cycle works, right? I'm not saying all females, right? Obviously, there's females there that just want to speculate or uh whatever it is that he wants to do, right? Now I don't have a PS4 blowing. I just haven't forgot to put my mic on. But basically what it is I think that's just my PC doing that.
Yeah,
Basically,
it's all good. It's all good. You can't. It's barely noticeable.
yeah, so basically what it is the stage is this is woman comes in to the Black Manosphere, starts parroting male talking points, right? Grow subscribers to a high level, maybe up to 100, right? Because I see this happening a lot, right? And there's new female content creators that are coming to that space, coming close to 100,000, right? Once they get their subscriber count, they're out of the Black Manosphere, and then they're basically doing their own thing. And this is the repetitive cycle over and over again.
Well, I will say this in defense. I think the only one who's done it has really been Jess X and maybe Kendrick D, the Crimson Cure. Everyone else has done it. It's like Danique Marie, she was already legit before. She went into the Manosphere at least 50, 60K, I think. So I don't know. I don't know. I think Jess X seems to be a bit of an aberration. I could be wrong. I don't know all the parts in it, but yeah, but there is definitely definitely Manosphere talking points. I'll say that then. Manosphere talking points. There's definitely a trend where I'm seeing a lot of women coming in again. What's her name? Melanie King. I'm doing not a name
Yeah,
drop. It is what it is. She's come in again. She's been on the fire as well regarding it, and she's come in and she's been like a steam train, soaring above a lot of the guys. And again, it's the exact same type of talking point. But again, when you go in the comments, here's what the guys are like. Oh, this is this is why I got a question whether it's red pill or not. Oh, it's so wonderful to see finally a woman who understands oh, it's so amazing. You know, all these women out here, they're all the same, but you get it, you really do get it. And I'm thinking to myself, you're a flipping clown. This is
Right.
I'm not saying that they're lying, but come on. It's just take that, just take all it takes. All it takes is someone to say, "Oh, do you know what, guys? We agree. Us women, we're being too ridiculous when it comes to this sort of stuff." And it's like, oh my god, she's on our side. Oh my god.
Right. Like, for example, this doesn't just span like what you're saying doesn't just span over from like the Black Manosphere. Also, went over from the men's right activists. Some of the movements or the spaces there. For example, there was a female by the name of Roma Army. She has like over like 500,000 subscribers, and like what you talk about is the same thing there. She's a female men's right activist, and she's massive, right? I think she's approaching 1 million subscribers, right? So, and the sad thing is that same sort of energy won't be applied like in the Black Manosphere to some of the men there who are doing exactly the same thing. It's just because of gender, or some of them are just simping. Like, for example, I'm seeing super chats where people, like some of these females, getting £500 flipping super chats. I hardly seen that in some of the male spaces.
And this is it, isn't it? And I'll say this then, in defense of the manosphere or women who criticize the manosphere, you can't say that these guys don't support women or black women.
Right.
You can't say that, can you? So regardless of what this spiel that they say, there's a formula here, isn't there? Where regardless of what people say, you have to say, look, these black men, they do actually are on, at least on the US and the UK, it might be slightly different because, you know, I'm not going to get into it, but you can't say that they don't support black women. You can't say that they hate women to the point where they again, this is that financial domination thing I was talking about, that femdom, where it's just like, for whatever reason, and these are the same guys who complain about women on OnlyFans, simps, and this kind of stuff, and yet, in a certain aspect, in a type of aspect, you could argue they're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, it pretty much is very very similar, because that's why like the other thing as well with this whole space is the Black Manosphere, because I was around for a very long time, right? Even when I was around some of the OGs there as well, was that what the Black Manosphere was actually meant to be was for black men, how black men can basically become men, basically giving men game in terms of how to navigate in life as a black man, right? You like that's hardly been delivered. Maybe before or close or near the beginning of YouTube monetization, or before YouTube monetization, that was around, right? That type of information was around. But what happened was some of these OGs started leaving because they started seeing the change in the energy, and it was becoming more female centric, right? It was more focusing on clicks, views, likes instead of the actual message. So basically, like the Black Manosphere is just an entertainment space now.
Yeah,
Its
and this
whole
is it.
purpose is not what its name was meant to be.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why now I'm just like, you know what, look, once you understand that, again, like I said, once you've been in this space for, again, I say 6 months tops, a year tops, you understand what it's about, and you just got to take it for what it is, and don't even, I mean, for starters, I don't know why people trust some of these content creators anyway. That's something anyway. When it comes to certain information, I mean, opinions are opinions. You can take it for what it is, but certain content creators or content that gets espoused, I'm like, be very careful about who you take information from someone who you don't
100%.
know who that person is. And this is why some things I get a bit curious about. But again, if it's entertainment, then it is. But some people actually do take this sort of stuff to heart, which kind of makes me just crack up. It just cracks me up.
Because
But
yeah, because that whole space. When I started doing research, I found out there was a lot of criminals in that space. All you got to do, because America has its public records or criminal records out there. If you find their government name, you'll find out there's a lot of dirt that is is on the Black Manosphere. I mean a lot. Some people pretending to be something that they're not, right? And this is why at one point, I urged people to get away. Like even the people that had a big part to play in it in recently have now left. You know,
Yeah.
and I was telling people time ago, look, leave. There's nothing there for you. It's all about the cash out, the likes and the views and the money. That's
Oh yeah.
just what
Yeah.
it's all about there.
Yeah. And this is it. And let me just bring it back to the situation here because
Yeah.
so do you think that's the same thing could be applied to Jess X in this situation? I mean, I don't know if you watch her content or how if you've seen her a lot or you analyzed her
I've
at all, but
seen I've seen her content from the
that's
beginning.
because that's the complaints on the women's side, even the guy side to a bit of extent as well. So on the women's side, they say the same thing. On the men's side, they say the same thing, depending on which fraction you're in. But how do you view the situation? Or
Since I've seen Jessica X from like the beginning, right? Because at one point I was part of the Black Man's, right? In my opinion, I'm not really too fussed about it, but the
yeah,
way I see certain people behaving, trying to find out who she is and blah blah blah. In my opinion, like she has the right to keep an anonymity if she wants to. But
mm,
the thing is these in if she's on the Black Manosphere and these guys are allowing it by watching her content, giving her super chats, so on and so forth, that's really on them, right? Jessica X could only do what Jessica X wants to do, right?
true, true.
And it's like really, in my opinion, like dudes needed to see this from the beginning. It's like this is why like that space needed a code of conduct. It needed a universal logo. It needed some sort of a vetting system before they basically because anyone could basically get into that space or whatever.
Yeah, but bro, it's YouTube, isn't it? Come on now, it's YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's YouTube, but
just
like
start an account and just record, go live. That bro, that's all it is.
I hear that, but there is other spaces that does require that type of thing where people can come, where people have to do stuff to actually be part of that space. I'm not going to say what those spaces are. People will have an idea of what it is, but
Right.
really, that's where I just say, like, it's really for the people in that space to blame. In my opinion, I don't know what Jessica X's motive is. She could be a genuine person. She really means what she says. She could be the person in the photo. To be honest, the way I see it is a lot of people just putting too much energy into this. Like it's funny
Yeah,
how
I agree.
people were saying, "Oh, she's the single mother from Huddersfield, and her name is called Jessica Raymond." Like, I'm sorry if someone's trying to keep their name, flipping like private, they're not gonna put their first name and they're not gonna put their Twitter as their first name or so forth.
Well,
It's just that it's a coincidence that her name is that.
absolutely, and this is what I was going to say because even the name Jessica is a popular name anyway, and you're right.
Right.
What just because that's what her YouTube name is, it doesn't mean that's her actual name. People lie. It's not out the realms of possibility for you to lie like that, is it? So I find it interesting because there's a content creators here who their name is not their actual name when you check her out. So it's like, why do people think again? It just made me crease and crack up when
Right.
Huddersfield and she was oh my days because she was mixed, and I was like, is that what is down to investigatory work nowadays? Is that how you put two and two together? It's like, come on now. And also, she's like, is she half Nigerian? So I don't know whether she would have taken her Nigerian name or what, but it won't be Raymond unless I don't think I've ever heard a Nigerian or an African, West African in that region ever be called Raymond surname. So, and Chris Logic, I'm sure she's like half Liberian or something. So she should know. This is the thing where I'm like, it makes no sense. So
Right.
I just thought to
And
myself,
there's a double standard that
oh, there
people
it is. Yeah.
haven't
R&B. Yeah.
clocked
Thanks for that. She said
onto.
the name's not Jessica. Fair enough then.
Right. And there's another double standard that people haven't clocked onto. There's male content creators on that space that hasn't shown their face. How come they're not getting the same energy? I know one prominent person in the Black Manosphere, right, who don't show his face, and his name is called BGS Ibmore. So
well, his face has been exposed, so
yeah, he's
his
been exposed,
yeah.
but he wanted to first because I was on his channel when I was part of that Manosphere clip, right? He never showed his face, so how come no one was giving that same energy to him, right? And he was a big YouTuber. It's like, oh hey, how come you didn't show his face, right? I'm not saying if he should or shouldn't, but I'm just saying that's a double standard, right?
Ish, true. But one thing I did say, which I think why I sort of pointed it out, was Jess X, she again, her content is just beefing with other content creators. Again,
Right.
she was known for beefing with Chrissy, Shiro7 and all this divested. So she does a lot of beefing. That's why I think a lot of times for her, it's more onus on it, whereas BGS was just more content based, which some people can agree to disagree, but it wasn't on a level of where he was coming after people in that sort of way. I think after a beef happened, that's when he got doxxed.
Yeah. I remember that.
So that's what that was about. I don't think it was necessarily about, because just again, like I said, that's what I say. Sometimes like just where she brings it on herself, and I have no sympathy here for some of the things. Like she
100%.
does go after these content creators. That's her content. So
100%. Like, so you have to deal with what the consequences of your actions. That's just how things are.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
see an anti-socialite is hell. So
yeah. Lady A, hey, what's up? What's your viewpoints? What's your thoughts?
Hey everybody, how are you doing?
Yeah, good
hello.
this evening. Good this evening.
I don't even proverbially speaking, because we can't see anybody.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We've all got avatars and none of them look like a person's face. Mine is the closest to a face because mine is actually part of my face.
Okay, I can't tell, to be fair.
If it was square, you could actually see it's actually my face with a mask on. But
Okay,
anyway,
okay.
so I understand where people are coming from. It's actually quite a perplexing situation because everybody who makes criticisms, they actually make valid points. But it's kind of like, does she do more harm than good? And it kind of falls, in my opinion, on the side of she does more good than harm. Because the whole, I mean, because I'm not there with all these conversations. I don't know how these beefs start, and like she ends up really getting into it with other content creators like this. But just the mere fact that she's getting so much praise and recognition, you will be attacked by the women anyway. Because I know other female content creators who, have become part of the affectionately termed pick me sphere, and they don't go after other content creators, but they still get these flying monkey harpy type women that just need to come in their comment section insulting them every time they drop a video. So you don't even need to attack these women for them to attack you. Once you are getting praise and recognition from the men, you will be attacked by these women online. So showing your face and things like that. The reason why I said what I said about the cam up is because I was actually having a discussion with somebody on a different panel. And you're right, you can just take the talking points, create a channel, and no one can really police you. And after the person kind of agreed, they asked me to come up and clarify a statement I made in the chat. When I said something they didn't like, the first thing was, well, can you cam up? And I was like, and I said, well, why? I don't even, it just came out. And then they were like, oh, because you're saying something. It's like, aren't we all? And it's like, well, you asked me to clarify my statement. I'm here. I've clarified it. And now I'm going. Thanks so much for having me on the panel. And I bounced. It's like, you got here 5 minutes ago and you're already making demands because you see Kevin Samuels and the lead attorney telling people to cam up. I don't know what you took this for. So when it comes on to Jessica, she does add the value that she adds to the space is that she kind of draws people out. She makes them say what they wouldn't necessarily say to the guys. And she has brought women to listen to the space. So that's where she gets her leverage
Let me ask
from.
this lady, is that based on, do you think, her content or just based on the fact that she has a voice and the picture that they like? Because I think most of it is down to the allure of her. Because you know, she speaks, let's be honest, no, do you know when you speak to a regular average every day on the road, they don't sound like Jessica X. They don't enunciate the word. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it's the law.
Yeah, she has a very special voice. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why the Huddersfield thing for us who are British is so hilarious. Because even like if you're not really sure where Huddersfield is, you're pretty confident it's somewhere in the north. And we all know how distinct a northern accent is from a southern accent. And even in the south, how distinct like urban London is from, like, Jessica X has got a very formal voice, very Queen Englishy. But when she's talking like casually, you still hear the London coming through. So it's like, what? Huddersfield? Really?
that I was creasing. I was like, oh my days.
The bit of Huddersfield, I nearly fell on the ground. I was like, Chris.
I know. I mean, if it was
Wow.
Essex, like, okay, maybe Essex. All right, maybe I'll give you a little bit of a leeway there.
A pass.
Yeah, but
Essex, Kent. You could have said, Jessica was born and raised in London, but now she lives in Kent. And you notice, I think when she said Huddersfield, you notice she showed the map, but she didn't show the relation of Huddersfield to London.
No,
I was like, why didn't you do a map of the UK, Chris, and show where Huddersfield is? You're giving the impression that Huddersfield is on the outskirts of London somewhere.
Well, to
it's
be fair,
clean across the country, isn't it?
I think a lot of Americans think that way because they think London's the actual country. That's what they think. So I really do. No, I mean,
and have you met the Queen?
That's why I sometimes clown them because they really do think London is a country, and I have to keep telling them, no, it's not. No, not everyone lives in London. No, that's not the case. No, we don't.
We don't all know each other because I've actually been asked, have I met Jessica X? Or have people like, have you met the Queen?
Just some dumb things. I'm like, oh, you guys don't show yourself to be smart as what you think. It's like you guys play up to your stereotypes. Like, come on now, come on. So it's crazy. But no, someone in the chat said something which I agree with what you're saying, Lady A, about the whole cam up is the hope to win the confirmation by attacking your appearance. And that's where I agree with the whole, if someone can't refute your talking points, unless it's related to appearance, that's where I'll say the cam up is a deflection tactic to try and attack your appearance. Because
definitely.
You're right. If you're just talking, you're talking, we're talking, I'm not going to ask you because I disagree with what you're saying, Lady. Cam up. Is that why? It's like that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. But again, they want to dispute what you're saying by just attacking your appearance, which have nothing to do with anything. My only thing with the camming up situation is just two things. I think she has attacked people's appearance and saying just with the average at best thing came out and some other kind of things. And there's certain things where I'm like, you go a bit too far where people will respectfully say, well, no offense, Jessica, but can you cam up? So that's where I'm like, all right, cool.
That K dude asked me, am I Jessica X? And the funny thing is this, people have told me before, they've asked me, did I ever live in Birmingham? And I've never lived outside of London. But people often say, you sound like you come from up north. I don't know why. That K dude said, I've got a bit of a Huddersfield twang in there. So am I Jessica X?
No, it's just a lot of Brits have a lighter inflection with their words, so they that must be a northern. No, so I think that's what it is. But I don't know. I don't know where that K dude's from. Where you from? I get
that all the time. Are you from Birmingham? Really? Oh, I've been asked several times. Yeah.
No, I've never picked you for that at all. But that's just me. I mean, because I work with people who come from the black country as well.
And it's more like Birmingham. I can't even do a Birmingham accent, but it's
I got family down there, so I know how it sounds, and it's different than the outskirts of Birmingham and West Midlands and that kind of stuff. But yeah.
I could imagine. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but this is it. If you don't know, people just assume everything's the same. But it's just sometimes I'm like, to us, it's like it's so different. It's like, how do you not know? You know what I mean? It's like, come on now, it makes no sense. But what can I say? Sorry, Jesse, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, the only way, like Jessica X, is gonna get exposed, right, is if she makes a mistake or basically Catfish UK comes calling. That's just the only way, bro. Like, people gotta understand, like, people gotta have their own, like, she wants to have her own private life on the internet, which is fine. But like, to be honest, like, my suspicions are, right, in a joking manner, is obviously I think she's from London, and I think she's either from the borough of Croydon or she's from Stratton.
I think she's actually from
East London. Said she lives in East London.
East London.
All right, so I'm gonna say Tower Hamlets then.
I mean, it's kind of it's
There was a
irrelevant.
time when they asked her to come up and she was walking down the street and you see like the London bus stop. So
Bro,
she really was at least at that moment in London.
Anyone can travel to a city in London, and you know what I mean. It's like, come on, man. It's like she could have been visiting, but listen, that's just nitpicking into it. So yeah, it's just.
And this is one of the reasons why I don't really care so much, because I understand like the whole thing about her coming into the space and overtaking everybody. This is just the reality. It's an unfair advantage, and you know, let's just be honest. One of the reasons why there's such contention is because the avatar is so attractive. If she had an avatar like Pink Book Lessons, who, if you want to talk about lapping people, Pink Book Lessons is the woman who is lapping everybody. Like, her numbers are everyone's combined. And the only thing she has in her avatar is her words, Pink Book. Okay? She says she's black. She sounds black, but we don't know. She says she's married. We don't know. She doesn't do lives, so there's no personal connection. She just does her uploads and she leaves it there. You can email her till your back drops off. I don't think she's responding to most of those emails and invitations.
And this is where, again, this is where I agree, and this is where I suppose the difference between her Jess X is, again, like you said, she does no lives. She doesn't. I don't think I've ever seen her beef with anybody. I don't think I've ever seen her go back and forth with anyone.
I've only seen her once in TLA's chat room.
Okay,
so.
But and this is it, and this is where, like you said, she draws people out. But this is what happens when you draw people out; they're going to play dirty. And this is why I said I don't have no sympathy, because again, her content is mostly drawing people out. It's not necessarily about the philosophy or talk about a general topic. It's all about, I don't know, so and so disagree with this, or divestors are saying this and that. It's like you're drawing people out just by atting people's name and tag, and you're
like reacting,
yeah, and you're coming at them. So that's why, you know what, let's be honest, if you're gonna fight like that, they're gonna get dirty. This is where it happens. So you can't, you got to be honest with you. This is, I mean, look, fair play to her. That's how she's managed to do what she's doing, but this is the unfortunate side effects to it. So, you know, it's what it is.
Yeah. So it just is what it is. I understand the unfairness. If you use an attractive picture, it's going to garner some attention. But what I will say is, yes and no, because there are a number of women who are part of the Pygmosphere. They cam up, you can see what they look like. They're still not doing the numbers. There are some who have attractive avatars. Many of them have cammed up. They're still not getting the pull. And, you know, obviously part of it is because of the accent, you know, because I know a lot of American people, in my opinion, they really like foreign accents.
Well,
and hers is very proper. Do you know what I mean? So
very,
there's the Queen and then there's Jessica X.
Yeah, it's the quintessential accent that they think all of us sound like. So that's why I think, yeah, whereas they're Americans, the other ladies I think you're talking about, I think, in the main.
Yeah, the other ladies, they're all Americans. Now, when it like you said, Danica, she's a very attractive woman. What's her name? Melanie King. These are women who had their own platforms. They're like veterans in like making content. And so, you know, they share an audience, but again, they can utilize their looks. We have to just be honest. But Kendra is one of the only official women in the Manosphere, and she came through with blood, sweat, and tears. You know, she comes out of the BGS camp, as you know, and she can't utilize her looks. But she's doing better numbers than even Jessica X, because there's substance there that is educational. And, you know, they do different things. They bring different things to the table. So.
No, I agree. And let me ask this lady. This whole situation, were you mostly laughing, crying? What were you doing? Because I was mostly laughing about this whole situation.
With what? With Chris Logic or
all of it. Chris Logic, the doxing, I don't know. Because
I'm like a rag doll. I'm pulled to and fro, because on the one hand, I understand why people are frustrated. As the brother was saying, the Manosphere was supposed to be a space where men empowered men, and the first generation got completely wiped out by the women. And then when the new generation, like O'Shea's set, came through with Obsidian and Angry Man, there were people still trying to talk about the men's rights bit. But then, you know, men started asking questions about how to get women and things like that, and female nature. And those were the videos that made the numbers. And the brother was also right when he said that, you know, it wasn't about views. It was about like duration of watch time. and then they implemented the opportunity to make money. And so people realize it's more about clickbait than it was about quality content or the original mission, as it were. And so, yeah, people just rode that crest of a wave. They just rode the wave. When it comes on to Jessica, I'm pulled in two directions. I like her, I support her, and I feel like she does more good than harm, because if she is saying the same thing, but people don't listen to it from anybody but her, it's better that she's in the tent spitting out than being outside the tent spitting in. Do you know what I mean? That's how I personally see it, because you may not like Jessica, but what the women who oppose Jessica is saying is actually harmful. That's why I go against them, even though I don't make as much controversial or beefy type content, because abort black male babies and black male worship concepts, and just divest and just run off to get a white man, but then the white man ends up killing you or something, and we don't want to talk about it because white men don't do those things. That's actually dangerous for black women. The things these women tell their audience is like one trauma bond circle jerk. That's all it is. Yep. Like, everybody just comes there with their bitterness to talk about sometimes experiences they didn't even personally have.
Right. And the other thing as well is the word pick me. I find this hilarious because everyone wants to be picked. Like, when I hear the term pick me, it's like, wait a minute. So wait, being a pick me is a bad thing? Because it's like when everyone talks about it, like in the space, right? They say, oh, it's a bad thing. Like, these females are being pick me's, and I'm like, last time I checked, like, even as a man, you want to be picked by a woman, and you want to be picked, and as a woman, you want to be picked by a man.
This is what the whole space is about, isn't it? So the whole space really is about men being pick me's for women. This is it, isn't it? And the whole thing is, for me, the same thing. They're all traumatized circle jerks, but ultimately they want to all be pick me's. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
it's crazy because we're the only group of people, Western black people, who actually shame one another, or in particular the women, because when these women call other women who are kind of so-called male identified or whatever pick me's, it's the equivalent of when a white man would see a white person who likes black people, either platonically or even romantically, and calls them like an N-word lover. Like, oh, you like those N-words, So the women are like, how can you like black men? How can you like those N-words? So we're going to shame you out of naturally liking your own men. And it's weird because we're the only group of people that shame women for wanting to be in committed relationships. So they've got no problem with you being ran through and riding the CC and ending up a single mother, so you can come to the internet and complain about being a single mother and how these men ain't ish. But they have a problem with you saying, I want to be a submissive, cooperative woman. I don't have an issue with black men, and I'd really like to be in a committed relationship. Oh my God, you're such a pick me. Oh my God, you're so male identified. It's so weird and backwards. And that's why I say these women over that side are actually dangerous, because by the time the women realize I've been had, you're going to be, how many illegitimate kids deep with all this trauma that you didn't need to go through because you're listening to this hateful content. Yep. It's like, and there are extremists in the manosphere, but again, it's like the vast majority of the men in the manosphere are kind of neutral. They're just putting the facts out there. You just got to pick the right channels. But when it comes to the women's sector, it's literally, black men are bullet bags. Black men are broke, dusty. Oh, every 6 hours, they're killing us. And it's like, more of you are dying of heart disease. What are you talking about?
There is a lot more venom with the women's side, I've noticed. Funny enough, because even with the men's side, I see it as a circle jerk. So, Stoic, I don't know if that's what you mean, but I see the men's space as a massive circle jerk, which is why, like I said, everything goes in cycles when it comes to the conversations. The conversations are going right back to start now, so it's a massive circle jerk. But yeah, in terms of the women's side, I flip me. I bought back babies and a lot of venom. I mean, even like, for example, the SYSBM, that's for me equivalent to most of the women's channels that I've seen. There are a lot of some which probably aren't as bad, but a lot of them are just, when I see some of the things, I'm like, I stay from it anyway.
Was it Baba Tunde? He goes
venomous.
in.
He's venomous.
He goes in.
Venomous. I won't listen
But
to
the
that. I
vast
won't listen to
majority of men are nowhere near that. That's the thing. And this is like this disingenuousness with the women. They'll be like, oh, so what if we're harsh on the men? You've got SYSBM. But how many SYSBM channels are there? About 2. Maybe Baba Tunde and Mad Bus Driver. And they are nowhere near as big. I mean, I haven't checked on their channels for a while.
No,
But
he doesn't have. He's off YouTube, so he's got like a little space online, which
oh really? I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
know that.
I'll put it in the private chat. But he has a
So
space
what
online.
all of that sector is kind, because don't forget, SYSBM is not even part of the Manosphere. They've already said we are not in the Manosphere. So they are nowhere near as big as these female content creators who just pump out hate and like trashy content every single day. Like they've got hundreds of thousands of subs. It's no comparison to like a itty bitty channel talking about black men go and get a white woman. Do you know what I mean? It's just a false equivalency.
Yeah, 100%. And again, this is why for me, I said this at the start, and I say it again. I don't pick a side. I have no. I pick
a side. I'm for the Manosphere. I'm joking.
No, listen, that's fine. Listen, I don't. You can pick a side. If you're part of it, I don't have any problems at all or any cons. But I don't have any. I just like both of it, both situations. I'm just laughing, sitting back laughing. I'm just keying. I'm thinking, man, this is. I mean, it's entertainment. Someone's saying the same thing, and this is it. This is why sometimes my first question was, what is the infatuation with this particular with Jess X anyway? And some things are just. And there's an article that said about. And this kind of confirms it, where they criticize the Manosphere for people being kind of stalkerish and incels and have that sort of vibe to it. And things like this don't actually, it's the women's side, but even the women's, let's be honest, they can be part of this whole group as well we're talking about. They don't help themselves. And that's a serious stalker threat. If someone was trying to dox you, someone was trying to contact your work, someone is trying to contact your family, that's serious. So much so that I don't know if you caught this lady, but last year it was another black lady from the UK. Her channel was about mental health.
I was there.
Yeah,
I was there.
She was crying because they had all these women coming attacking her. She wasn't even Jessica X, and it's like, bro, and this is
she had like some mental health issues, like she had maybe some like little bit of depression or something, and then she was just getting bombarded, and she had no clue. Jessica X tried to reach out to this lady in Huddersfield to give her a heads up, but I wanted to say this is the reason why black men say the things they say. Like in some respects, Chris Logic has done everybody a favor because this has proven how poisonous and how spiteful some of us can be. We just need to call a spade a spade. Why are you calling this woman's job to get her fired? Kevin Samuels, they did a petition. They wanted, and this, I'm trying not to swear. This chick, this female was like, I want him taken off YouTube and Instagram. Why? Because those are the 2 platforms where he makes his money. So everything connected to his income will fall through. I want you to be homeless. I want you to be destitute. I want the car that you've got on hire purchase or whatever, or payments. I want you to lose the car. I want you to be in a cardboard box because you've now lost your main source of income. And it's sheer spitefulness. It's one thing to argue the talking point, but it's another to take it offline and then go to that extent over the difference of an opinion.
Yeah, I again, to be fair, this is both sides. I've seen on the women's side.
I've never really seen men doxing. I'll say people tried to dox Chrissy, but I wasn't sure. And I think, and I'm not sure if Crystalline.
Cynthia G also, I think she's had her work, etc. like that. So there has been content. The thing is, most of them, except for like Chrissy stuff, they cam up. So there's an aspect to it where it won't be as severe as certain things. But yeah, I do see a bit on that. I have heard a lot of things on some of the content creators I've come across where they have doxed the other side as well, and it's old. That's what I'm saying.
Cynthia G with that whole baby business, her business was put out there by a female. A lot of these females are being run off YouTube by other women.
Some of them are, yeah, no question.
Crystalline Kerosin's mentor, Kendall St. Charles, she was doxed by women. She used to have a channel, probably it, called Brooklyn Blue.
Yeah, it
was black women that put her information out there, and she took her stuff off YouTube and said, if you want this information now, you have to pay for it. So this idea that black men are so awful and they're doxing all these women, or it's just not true. A lot of these women are being ran off the platforms by women who disagree with what they say. They just don't want to be helped. You just got to leave them to burn.
Did anyone see the live stream where Jessica X was I think she was on a live stream recently with another YouTuber, and basically she was being accused of being transgender. Right.
She could be.
And it's just getting silly, man. It really is.
She could be, but I always answer the question like this. Okay, if I'm transgender, does that change the point I made? Refute the point. I could be a transgender alien. It doesn't matter. Refute the point. That's what we're talking about. Are we overweight? Do we have kids out of wedlock? Are we getting married to anybody? Is this? You say, oh, we're killing, being killed by black men every 6 hours. How many hours of the day is it a black man or a black child is being killed by a black woman? Refute the point. Okay, yes, I'm a transgender, and so what? Let's go. Because I wouldn't even waste my time entertaining that kind of stupid point. Okay, if I'm a transgender, and so what?
Only thing I say
These
to that
men
is
would rather a transgender who actually has sense than you guys who were born women who have no sense.
Whoa, hold on. As a guy, I got to speak on this one. And no chance. I'm not picking no transgender over no woman who don't speak no sense. I got to speak for at least on behalf of me. No chance.
I'm joking.
Some guys will know. Some guys will, but no chance.
If it looks convincing enough, no, I'm joking. Like, see, I told you they're all dead in jail and down low.
No, yeah, that's a bit of an epidemic, you know. But anyway, that's another story.
No, but seriously, you know, it's just it's just a lot of these women, they wanted to cajole black men into falling in line. And what they saw with Jessica is that without, well, I understand she can be contentious, but without the whole you're a broke dusty and all of this kind of whipping that these women on the other side seem to think will force men into moving a certain way, she was able to garner a lot of respect. And that's one of the things I think is they're most jealous about. The admiration and the respect and the pedestalization. And obviously, you know, she's biracial, she's foreign. So it's like...
But do you know, on that biracial part, 'cause I made a point, and this is what made me really think about the irony is, like you said, they're promoting a lot of the ones who came after this time, they're promoting divesting, they're promoting, obviously, they're going outside of the race. I'm thinking to myself, hold on a second. The product of that is someone like Jess X. So
exactly.
I'm like, you do realize that the thing that you hate the most, pretty much, or you could argue, is the product of what's going to come out of you. You see what I mean?
Your competition.
Yeah. So it's like, regardless of what you say about black men, the product of the union of interracial is going to be someone who's light skinned. So you kind of just going to, how does that work? You see what I mean? So it kind of just, it makes me
I was looking at a comment under a video one time about divesting, and it was like something like, you know, having a black daughter, and now I've got I have, what's it called, you know, we should just like stop having black sons or something and just get a white man. And someone said in the live, like, she's probably a single mom with a daughter. And afterwards I was like, what? No. And then when I went back and thought about it, it's like, yeah, the reason why she's saying don't have black boys is because she's already had her children with a black man. It happened to be a daughter. And after that, she divested, and now she's got a white stepdad. So when you hear like all this, oh, abort black male babies and divest, some of these women will not be having children for these white men. Even though if they do, they will love those children because they worship those fair kids with the pretty hair and the nice eyes. Okay, let's just keep it a buck. So it's true. It doesn't make any sense to basically hate on a woman who you are helping to create. But then nothing in that sector really makes any sense. So we shouldn't be surprised that it's a contradiction. The thing is this, if Jessica X was saying all black men are trash, they would embrace her fully. The problem is she's saying that not all black men are trash. Now all of a sudden everything she says and does and is a problem. So
I suppose, again, to be fair here, I think it's a case of Jess doesn't seem to ever have, and this is sometimes where I'm like, as a woman, there's certain things which, in my humble opinion, there's certain talking points where if you are on the man's side, I question it because it's going to go against kind of your position as a woman in certain things. So sometimes I'm like, I get what you're saying where I'm like, there's certain things I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's just too on the male side where it's like, come on now. I've seen other women who hold women accountable. And even they're like, there's certain things where men, we need to talk about the situation because this is an issue which as a woman, I'm going to feel because you can run up and leave after you've impregnated a woman. You see what I mean? There's certain things where I'm like, there's certain...
No.
What?
They do not impregnate the women.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
They allow themselves to be impregnated.
Right here. See, this is one of the things right here. Now here's the thing. It both can control, but what I'm trying to say is
No.
Hold on. Let me flesh it out. If you as a couple agree to have a child and that man can up and leave, no, this happens in couples. If you agree, let's try for a baby and have a baby, that guy can up and leave during the first, third, second term. That guy can leave.
Are they married?
No. Or they could be married.
Oh, I think that's your fault, my dear. That's your fault.
So what's if they're married then? Is that still her fault?
It's unlikely that a man is going to marry a woman,
Answer the question. If they're married, they do the right thing and he still leaves. Whose fault is it? It's
unlikely.
No. Answer the question. See, you're ducking. Answer the question.
It's all right. I will say, if he said, let's get married, they get married. He said he wants a family and then he bounces after she gets pregnant. That's 100% his fault. So, but at least she has the safety net, which is called, I'm going to take your ass to court. Okay. But if majority of these kids, at least half, I don't know about the UK, but in America, half of the children are not being born in marriage.
Well, again, I don't know the stats about that. It's one of those things, and this is the
it's
thing.
Like 50% of.
I'm like this. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I was going to say, but it's like 50% are born in marriage. About 40% are being raised by a single mom. About under 10%, just close to 10% is like single dads, and the rest is like neither parents, maybe care or extended family or something. So. The woman is the one. Yes, it takes two technically to make a baby, but all of the reproductive controls. Yes, you know why? This is why things happen for a reason. We all saw what happened just the other day with Drake. Drake was sexually responsible, and even though he threw the condom in the bin, they'll still say it's your fault because you should have rinsed it and flushed it. Why? Because women are never held accountable. That's why I'm so happy he put the pepper in the condom. I'm so happy. I'm glad she got a sting down there. Good.
No. Agreed. I'm not going to disagree with that. Absolutely. And I'm not going to be stupid enough to say that women don't do this sort of stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I agree.
Bro, somebody the other day, they had the baby making fluid in their mouth. And the woman used it to inseminate herself and then put the man on child support.
But come on now,
another content creator just did a video. All these various forms of sperm jacking.
But that's not that's not like it's a regular occurrence. So that's the thing where, again, you're doing the same thing where the women will say something like, well, that's not a regular occurrence. And here's the thing, I agree with what you're saying, but also, to be fair, that's not a regular occurrence in the same way as the other way. You see what I mean? And this is where I have an issue with the guys where they do the same thing that the women are doing. You pick and choose a scenario which is rare, not rare, but nowhere near the norm. And you're, oh my God, and you guys are both the same. This is why I'm like, I have no size here. I think you're both the same.
What I will say to the women, I'll ask her, okay, which form of birth control do you endorse? Because if your argument is if the man didn't wear a condom, it's because he wanted a baby, we can argue when you have 6 to 10 plus, some argue up to 20 something forms of birth control. If you are not using any of them, including Plan B or Plan C, you also wanted to be a single parent. And I've actually had conversations with women where I'm like, look, screw the man. We can even say F them kids, right? We don't care. You chuck them out and that's it. You can just do whatever. But you're the one who's going to risk your life. Your body's going to be changed. You're going to have to go through postpartum or whatever. Why would you do all of that for a man who's not going to be there for you? And you know what one woman said to me? Well, that's what child support is for.
Right.
I nearly dropped the phone. I was like, wow, you mean to tell me you're going to change your life and impact the life of that child? And all you can say is, well, that's what child support is for. If he's going to spite me by changing my body, I'm going to hit him where it hurts, which is get child support and wreck his life with child support. I was like, I can see we're worse than I thought.
And you know
We've
what
gone further than I thought.
you know, like
That's ridiculous.
so
No, go for it. Go for it.
yeah, you know, like what I notice with some females is that, like I've noticed it based off my observations, is well, some women, I'm not going to say all, um, basically waste a lot of their goodness on bad guys.
Mm,
I'm seeing this a lot. Like there was this one chick that I knew, right, and I was like, this woman is like wife material, like legit wife material, right? And I don't come across them a lot, right? And basically, I was like, how the hell have you now decided to waste your goodness on a dude that basically treated you like trash, right? And I was like, yeah, and this is why like a lot of good men tend to see this, and it is very like, it's very like, how can I really put it? It's very off-putting for some good men
mm.
because they see it and they observe it, and this is why a lot of men are like withdrawing from the dating scene, because it's like a lot of men these days, and I've noticed this, and even I have felt like this sometimes, is like, what is the point of being a good man when like some good men have to be jumping through all these hoops, sometimes not feeling invisible, basically feeling invisible, but then you could have a Pookie or some waste man that don't even have to do much, and he's getting all the women, he's getting all the vibes, you know? So it's
Mm.
like we also got to look into that. We also got to look into the culture in terms of what are we celebrating. Like for example, celebrating the thug when we should be celebrating the educated, or let's say, well, not necessarily educated. I'll just say a good man, a good
Mm.
foundational man, because there could be men that are not educated. So that's just really that. So it's like I've seen that, and it's like, yeah, like it can be very frustrating for some men where it's like,
Well, it's
yeah,
a mind trick. It's a mind trick.
uh,
And it's about control. I personally, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I think that basically they want to keep people at the bottom, and breaking up the family helps to do that. A lot of the time, in my opinion, especially in America, but obviously, whatever trends kind of get established in America, we all start adopting it over time as we kind of aspire to that type of culture. Like I said before about American culture being slavery culture, even if Black women and Black men, let's say in America, are doing the worst out of all of the ethnic groups, the women are still given a false sense of superiority over their men, because due to the fact that they're like a double minority. If they're part of the LGBTQ, that's a triple minority. They can always say, oh, I need this because I'm a woman, I need that because I'm a woman. And they're like, well, if we take this Black woman, she fills two boxes. She's an ethnic minority and she's also a female. So the women get a lot of trinkets, they get a lot of accolades. Look at was it the BET awards that happened? Not the BET awards, that happened just the other day. It was literally a Black woman worship fest. You know, it was just women, you know, Meg the Stallion talking to that politician and things like that. And they just celebrated constantly as if to say they're really being victimized. And they like that dynamic because they are superior to their men. That's why a lot of the things those women say is not real. If they really cared about the men being defeated and conquered, as they say, they would actually do stuff to help the brothers. But they will have jobs and they won't even try and get their sons into these jobs. They'll push their daughters to go to school and they don't even make sure their boys can read. How can they compete if they can't even read? So I don't really take what they say seriously because it's not true. They like being in a position where they have dominance over their men. And that's why they end up with these pookies, because all they want those men for is sperm if they want a baby and sex. Okay. And they like the ability to be able to say, when I don't want you anymore, get out of my house. And this comes from their mothers, this comes from their sisters, it comes from the females in their peer group. These men are being surrounded by women who work together to basically keep them in this kind of subservient position. And that sounds really harsh to say, but that's why they don't invest in their boys, because the only thing those boys are there for is to serve the women in some way. Give us kids, give us money, take us on dates, give us sex, and when we're finished with you, you get out of my house. That's why even educated women are with these broke, dusty, fixer-upper type of men and prison birds and you name it. They like those men because they can still maintain control over those men.
It's interesting because, you know, sometimes with the control, when, again, this is stereotyping here, but these waste man, they're the ones who are likely to beat up a woman. So I'm just like, so again, that kind of control is kind of sadistic, really, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't know. But anyway, let me sort of scramble right back around, because we've sort of talked about a whole nother conversation and topic, which I kind of didn't really want to stray too far from, or go into, shall I say, stray too far from. But yeah, because kind of going back to topic, and let me sort of ask this kind of question here, and let me just say it like this: do you see the whole situation here? I get an example of let's use the word red pill fragility, because that's how I saw a lot of the Jess X situation here. In regards to, I'm not saying that they should oust her out or say anything negative, but do you not see a little bit of a fragility in thinking, because she says our talking points is a little bit of, we're just going to leave her, not off the hook is the wrong word, but I don't know. Do you see where I'm coming from? I don't know if that question makes any sense to you both.
Say that again.
I said, do you see the situation a little bit as red pill fragility on the side of the manosphere, or do you still see the talking point? Do you feel the talking points are still as strong, if you see what I mean, or do you see them a little bit fragile, the space, if that makes sense?
In my opinion, I think the red pill is nonsense to begin with in the first place.
Okay.
Because it's like, it's all about being evidence. Where I see it is just being evidence based. What is true, what isn't, right? There's a lot of, I would say, pseudoscience that is spoken about in like the red pill space, especially about like women, right? And there's some red pill stuff that isn't talked about in regards of how certain men operate too, right? It's very female centric, the red pill, when in reality, like, I remember even before, like, when the manosphere was like first around, it was very balanced. It wasn't female centric, it was male and female centric, right? There was red pills about men as well as women. So, and this version of the red pill that is around is in my opinion, I think it's very harmful, because it puts, like, you say like red pill fragility, yeah, it's very fragile, because if you get a well-versed, well-experienced man who's been about the block, they could easily break down that red pill, right? Like, people talk about hypergamy, for instance, right? In the red pill space, hypergamy doesn't work how they try to say. They say, oh, you know, like, a woman sees a better version of a man while he's in a relationship with a man, and she immediately goes with that guy because he has higher money, higher status. It's not always the case. Some cases, yeah, but that's not always the case. If that was the case, no one would be basically married, because women will be basically leveling up all the time when they find a better mate. And society would be even more screwed if hypergamy was the way it was, how basically some of the red pillars talk about it.
No, I hear you. And this is where one of the things I did kind of want to say about the whole situation, what it's kind of proven, is that it's, you know, someone made a comment on another live stream I was watching, and once you've been in a space, you should really evolve. I want to know, graduate is what they used as the term, but the space really is devolving, not evolving. It's like the talking points are kind of here, and then they go right back down. It's like to a base level. It's the baseline conversations, the base level conversations. It's all the same thing. It's crazy. And you're thinking at a certain stage it will evolve, but it's not. And it's just crazy. So a lot of these reasons why these content creators are where they are, male and female, so Jess X is the example here, is because the space hasn't evolved. I thought red pill is about evolving as a man. or like you said, Jesse, when it's both men and women evolving. But but it's again, it's entertainment, isn't it? It's just entertainment. So yeah, sometimes I'm like this. If you're gonna take this for actual, evolving your life, then you have to go somewhere else, I think.
I agree. And here's the sad thing about this Black Manosphere space. The Black Manosphere could have been something massive that could be very beneficial to the Black community globally, and they basically dropped the ball, right? Because it could have been something very resourceful around the world for Black people who are struggling or are living in the struggle. But because the space is more female centric, like it's not as valuable as it could have been.
Agreed.
Yeah, I hear you. I want to think which I
Massive
want.
loss.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go on. I finished. I said it's just a massive loss. It could have been something a lot more beneficial to the Black community globally.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing I wanted to bring up here, and this is where I suppose Jess X comes a part of this, and look, she's free to do what she wants to do. But one thing I've noticed about us as a UK group of people is, why is it that I suppose we've not, as ourselves, solidified our, if you want to talk a manosphere or even position in a space like this? You see what I mean? It's like one of the things I really do not like, and this is kind of where I think this is where Jess X gets a lot of heat, because the Black manosphere on that side is very right wing and they're very racist. They may not want to say this because again they have the problem with white people, but they're very, let's say, xenophobic. Then let's use that word. They're very xenophobic. If you've ever realized, if you ever go there and they realize you're not, American or ADOS,
Yeah,
they really, really have a problem with it. So they're very xenophobic and racist. That's kind of a right wing trope. They're very much like that. One of the things I always want to know is there. That's one thing I think she has a bit of an issue here, because already she's got that barrier to deal with, as well as everything else. But I suppose the question I want to say is there kind of responsibility for us to sort of, you could say, protect her, because we've not done a good job of, I say we, I'm not in the space, but you see what I mean when I mean we.
yeah.
Okay, there are content creators in the UK, but again, they're very US centric, aren't they? They don't seem to care for any of the UK. And this is what I hate, I'm going to say, about UK content creators, and this is how we show ourselves up. By doing what we do and we're seen as begs, we always try and latch on. So they will not respect us, because they see us as a little brother. They see this as the little brother, little cousin who's trying to come over here where we are, as opposed to what we're going over here. And this is where I think this situation raises ugly head, because they will treat us, like you said, treat someone like a fan, like a celebrity. They'll treat you like a fan. And this is why it's like, she's over there again. She's running up numbers. She's getting her money. Run those pockets. If she's not who she is, run it. I don't even care. But there's a little bit here where it shows us up. I don't know if you agree or not, Jesse or Lady A.
I agree, and I'm the perfect candidate to answer this, because there was a time where, when I was in the manosphere, when I was in the Black manosphere at the time, I was actually getting advice from a YouTuber called The Angry Man, and I was talking to him, I think it was via live stream, when I was on a live stream, about creating basically a UK version of the manosphere, right? And basically he said that there isn't a solid foundation, even from here, to create, like, from like the original manosphere, to create a UK version manosphere. And to a point, I agree, but it's like you could create something brand new and start with a new structure. But when I really look at it, we don't really have the content creators to create a space like that, to be honest. Like, the only people that I could see within that space that are from the UK, that are, let's say, who have a big fan base, right? I would say is what King Riches and maybe Jessica X is the only people I could think of name. And I'm talking about people who have at least 5 figures of subscribers, right? Because when you look in the UK, it's very difficult to find UK YouTube content creators. Like, for example, when I found You Why It Matters, I was like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air. This is very refreshing, seeing someone talk about certain issues in the UK, right? With, like, the way I think similarly in terms of certain talking points, right? Even the Anti-Socialite, which I do watch, and I think I am subscribed to her.
Hey, we
And
got replicant fish,
right,
falcon black.
right. Oh yeah, I know Falcon Black, and so on and so forth. And there was even a time where I was on when I was on O'Shea's channel. If you go on my if you want proof, you could go on my YouTube channel and look at my playlist. There was even a UK podcast called the UK Broadcast. It consisted of me, Falcon Black, King Riches, and I think there was another dude. I can't remember his name. And they were trying to help. Like there is certain Americans that do try to help us. Like O'Shea did try to help the UK, the UK stuff. He really did try his best, but some of the UK brothers weren't really taking on that opportunity. And the reason why I could say that is because behind the scenes, people weren't turning up on time. They weren't organized about doing this thing. So at a point, I got very frustrated when I left because it's like, are we on this or are we not? Right? And we have very limited resources. But the thing is when I say that American YouTubers care about the UK, I would say that's a very small minority of people, right? Really, it's like you said, if the UK subscribers go over there, go over to America or the American space, we we are looked as the little brother, right? And the reason why that is the problem is we didn't build up our own space here, right? I think we can do it, but it's really about finding the type of people. Like it needs to be bigger. We've got to have a bigger fan base, and we got to talk more in the UK based problems. Because what I notice is some of these UK YouTubers are talking about American issues or are talking about American problems, right? In my opinion, if you know some YouTuber, I don't know. Have you ever heard of a guy called uh, Fezify?
Yeah, Festify. He's the
Right.
he does like
Now,
news broadcasts. Is it he's
right,
music, isn't he? I'm thinking
right.
him or Studio Gangster. Yeah, Festify. Yeah. He's
Yeah. I'm
I
not
think
saying
he's a
that.
white boy though, isn't he? He white though, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What I'm saying is all I'm saying is like the YouTube content creators need to have content more like him, like more UK centric, and stop broadening towards the UK or the US audience.
Well, I agree. And the thing is about that is we make a we can't do this. I'm like, yes, we can. YouTube is YouTube. It has an algorithm, it has a flow. And when you
Yeah.
think about how, let's be honest, Backchat London is probably like a Manosphere type talking point. Yet
Yeah.
that gets numbers, but it's obviously mainstream. So I do think Fiona said something as well. We do have day jobs, and I do question whether a lot of them have day jobs over there. So that's a big fact. I mean, some of them I see, I'm like, you're going live at a time where I thought you'd be at work. But anyway, but yeah, I think we are bad at just going and running with things and trusting ourselves. We don't believe ourselves, I think, is our problem enough to
I
really just
agree.
make sure that we care about ourselves, not disagreeing, not caring about anyone else, but we're here helping ourselves. We have issues here that we need to do. Some things which are a hell of a lot worse over there, which when I bring up facts, I'm like, oh really? I'm like, are you in the UK? But anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of things which we don't trust ourselves, and we don't seem to link up with each other enough for that to take place. But it's getting better though. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's getting a heck of a lot better. So
I agree.
it is there. I will say this though, and this is another thing I was gonna say. We probably don't want it to be their version of this. You see what I mean? It needs to be
No,
our thing, which is different, which
exactly.
has a different flow, a different feel, so they can see it differently. Because at the end of the day, what's the expression? Build and they will come. That's can be expression for anything. If we could believe in ourselves and trust in ourselves and do something different, which is our own, then people will respect it. And that's the where again I say this where it comes to Jess X, unfortunately. This is where she gets a bit more heat as well because of that fact. And even like some of the vernacular she used, I'm like that. I think she said y'all or something. I was like, UK people don't use that word. No, we don't say that. We don't
No,
say
we
that. We
don't.
don't say that. We don't say that. And I've been guilty a little bit, but I'm like, we don't say them kind of things. You know what I mean? So I don't I don't get it. But I think we just need to believe in ourselves and trust in ourselves. And it don't matter. I mean, dare you say it's small, but don't even matter. Like I said, Backchat London runs numbers, and that got a. They went over to Houston, went over to NYC. That's how much numbers it did. So I don't
Yep.
buy that mess. This is YouTube. It's an algorithm. It has so many billion users. Just because someone's not from your part of the world, don't mean they won't tune in. Certain issues are just issues, man. It's just if we
Like
don't believe in
easy
ourselves,
men.
no one else will. So that's how I see it.
CZ Mills, another content creator that's doing well for herself. Even what's his face? Sarah Garvey. If you know who Sarah Garvey is.
I do.
Yeah, he's another dude that is interesting. He's someone that I've always wanted to. When I build my platform, which is happening, I think it's this month now. If I could just repair this computer first, basically I'm gonna. But either way, even if I have to repair it or not, videos are gonna be coming out soon. But yeah, like he's someone I wouldn't mind having a conversation with. Sarah Garvey. We have some interesting figures here. You know, like even what was it? ZZ Mills. Even ZZ Mills did a collaboration with Sarah Garvey. But
he's like mainstream now, though, isn't he? Sarah Garvey a little bit. You could argue, or maybe not underground mainstream. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's necessarily mainstream because, in my opinion, I think that because of his talking points are very unique and very different, and some people may think it's unpolitically correct. I don't think he's really mainstream. Like the fact that he got onto ZZ Mills probably makes him mainstream. But what I felt was the interview he did with ZZ Mills was I think the other guy, the third guy, needed to leave. I think it should have been ZZ Mills.
Oh, you talk about that conversation they had about cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needed that other guy didn't need to be there. It needed to be Sarah Garvey and ZZ Mills because Sarah Garvey does well by himself. He doesn't need other people.
Well, truth be told, if they had any half competent guy who could string a sentence together, it would have been fine. But he was a special case, so
yeah.
So I remember that interview. Yeah, but yeah, and this is where again, this is probably why again, obviously Jess X and even King Richards. I mean, I've never seen King Richards collab with any male UK content creator ever.
Well, he collabed with me.
Did he?
I
Okay.
collabed with King Richards. I knew King Richards for right from the beginning of.
Is it on his channel or your channel? Can I ask?
It was on his channel.
Okay.
There was a time where he was meant to collab on mine, but the problem was I didn't have a channel then. But I basically stuff like. But yeah, like.
And also, sorry, Jesse, big up the channel of podcast. KB Ty, I know you guys are out there doing your thing, so I don't want to make you think that we've missed you out. So yeah, 100%. Again, yeah. KB Jones, yeah, they were the Ty, they were in there as well. So there's enough to make a little bit of something, but yeah,
we're getting there because I'm seeing a lot of podcasts coming up now. I'm seeing a lot of that going on. But yeah, King Richards, he's been around for a while. Like, he was something as well. So, and he was a pretty good one. I think he did a collaboration with Fresh and Fit. But in my opinion, I think like the thing with the problem with King Richards is like he's a great collab. He's a really good content creator. But the problem is like if he, say for example, he lived in America, because I remember him talking about he'll be a lot more bigger.
Do you know what? I don't know, because keep in mind now, there's a dime a dozen in the US who don't get the. See, the thing is, we tend to look at the bigger ones and not the ones who don't get nearly a tenth of the views out there. So I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, obviously that's how he feels, so I can't say anything else if that's what he said. But I don't know.
Well,
there's a lot of content creators who, let's be honest, who I've said that people have stolen from them and they're nowhere near the levels of even King Richards. So I don't know. Again, that's how he feels. Fair enough. But yeah, the thing is, we all see the ones who blow up and we think, man, they ain't that. I was here before you, and it just is what it is, isn't it? You can't really control that as much as you try with the content. Like you said, Ringo TV Raw. I remember subscribing to him way back when he was exposing Christian preachers. He's been on YouTube since the day of dawn. This YouTube account was open in 2006, and his was like open in 2006. That's how long he's been on this scene, and he's been doing videos I've been seeing in the background. But he's nowhere near the level of, I think, King Richards. And yet he's been out for ages. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? So I don't know.
And what I wanted to say, going kind of back to the previous conversation, I'm actually going to jump down now because I still have some stuff I need to do. But the issue is the audience. You asked about, is the Manosphere, what has this really exposed about the Manosphere and the red pill? And You know, I've never really criticized men for wanting to be with women or talking about women, because I understand that women are a huge part of people's lives. And at the end of the day, it's the audience who makes these decisions and who gets big, basically. Because, like we said, a lot of people are saying the same thing. It's just who the audience gravitates towards. And sometimes it's like, once they see a crowd, they all follow the crowd. So once you get a crowd going, people just start coming. So you kind of, it's a lot of people have said that the manosphere is full of guys who are blue pill. Like, as much as they talk all this, oh, I'm red pill, I'm alpha, many of them, they still just long for the fantasy and the blue pill dream of like a white picket fence and women are sugar and spice and everything nice. So I don't know if we can form, because even in the white manosphere, I don't think there's that many British content creators. So we're small, but we can pull something together for sure. But definitely we have to talk, obviously, more stuff to do with the UK, because it is easy for them to say, well, why are you in American business? Even though I do personally feel there are similarities and we are being influenced by their culture. So I wouldn't necessarily say don't discuss it at all, because there are similarities, and these problems because of feminism are just, they're becoming global anyway. So yeah, you know, I hope that we can support British content creators to grow, because we do need to be able to stand on our own too without relying on American. No shade, because a lot of my subscribers are American. Some of them are here.
Yeah, and this is it. It's never that. It's just, again, like you said, you want to stand on your own 2 feet in a way which solidifies you as a content creator. But again, however it happens is however it happens. As you said, the market decides, and in essence is what you're saying, isn't it? The crowd will go where the crowd goes for whatever reason. It is what it is. So you put out a video there.
You have to blame the audience.
This is it. Lady,
blame the audience.
No, you're right. You put out a video, and whoever comes in is whoever comes in. You know what I mean? You can't. What are you going to do with that? You can't control that, can you? So you're right. Your
Thanks for having me on the panel. I've got to drop down, but I'll be listening in.
Yeah, 100%. But thanks for
coming, guys.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Peace.
And this is it, Stoic. We're small, but you know, we're Talawa. We're still big. Got a still big, huge impact. That's, you know, a classic Jamaican phrase. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. So I'm just like this. I don't. Some of this stuff about, oh, we're too small, we're too this, we're too that. Bro, the UK in itself, take away this race, the UK is still was one of the greatest empires, the British Empire, one of the greatest empires that ever lived. It's like, come on now, come on. So it is what it is. It's just sometimes I do think we're a bit more, oh no, we can't do this, we can't. But you know, I'm not saying you have to be like them, do your own thing. But at the end of the day, it's like it is possible. So it is what it is.
Oh, it's very possible.
Yeah, Talawa.
The other thing as well is there's a algorithm. People keep forgetting. Like,
yeah.
Encourages, if you do the right things on YouTube, doesn't matter where you are, they will get you followers, they'll get you an audience, and you'll grow. So doesn't really matter, because there is big YouTubers in the UK as well. So it's very possible. It's just you got to do the right things. You've got to be knowledgeable of YouTube, and that's another thing that I do feel a lot of black content creators don't get is you have to study YouTube. You have to know, like, you know, read some books on YouTube. You know, like if you look at some of, like, a good example of a YouTuber that does his homework is like an O'Shea Duke Jackson. Like whenever I was like on his platform or whatever, he would keep telling me about the people he would read. He will listen to people like Nick Nimmin, all these. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that will teach you how to be good at YouTube. Like, I got a few books as well that I read regarding YouTube, because you got to really study. You got to really study the stuff. You got to know what you're doing. Like, it's not just having a camera and basically pick it up and talking and expect to like really grow. Like, those days are over, you know. So that's just really that. I think it's very possible that the UK can bring a big scene. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be Manosphere, but something that talks about male and female issues and so on and so forth. You know, because that conversation definitely needs to be spoken in the UK. Because what I feel is sometimes we are parroting sometimes American talking points.
Yeah, definitely sometimes. And I think one of the things I realized with the UK scene is it's mostly on a, for example, like KB Jones and Ty have done their podcast like that style. I see a lot of it in that type of way.
Yeah.
When you look at some of the shows that like Chucky Online, and you see the 90s babies, and even like
Domino
ZZ
Effect.
Mills. Say again?
Domino Effect as well. Domino Effect podcast.
I see a lot of them in that vein. So I think in terms of the scene over here, which is good because it's a different type of vibe, but it's still obviously podcasting. And this is where I think Captain Tosin, he said something about, do we really need a manosphere over here? And that's the question, isn't it? Is it about that? Is it just about a style, stylistically, we're just not in tune with our people? And that could be a reason why as well. Is it that stylistically we're not doing what UK man them, gal them do, which is again in a similar vein to that kind of style. So maybe that's what it could be.
To be honest, I don't think there needs to be a black manosphere in the UK because, in my opinion, I think the race relations is good enough here compared to America. Because you got to understand, like, the racial, even though, yes, it's improved in America, the race relations in America is not as good as it is in the UK, right? So there may not need to be a black manosphere because in the UK, but it might be a manosphere type space. It may not even be a manosphere, maybe something else.
You have a lot of black people disagreeing with you there, Jesse, because a lot of issues have taken place, which again have caused a lot of race topics to drop his hand. So you'd have a lot of disagreement there with you.
What do you mean? Like, explain.
Chow Q, for example.
Well, Chow, the thing, like, that's just one example. I'm saying
BLM is another example. Stop and Search is another example.
But the thing with Black Lives Matter, let's just be honest, like, Black Lives Matter was imported from the US. That was imported from the US. Like, some of the problems that some of the problems in the UK, some of the stuff is imported from the US. Some of the stuff
but just forget the US issues. I'm talking about like institutional racism when it comes to where we are in the boardroom, where we are in terms of employment, where we are in terms of financial gain, these are the things we don't talk about, which is why I have a bit of a, there's a reason why our issues don't get addressed, because we kind of don't address them. Again, Stop and Search. You're right. There are issues that the US talk about, but the issues which I speak to other UK people and they have no clue. And I'm like, how do you have no clue about this stuff? Because guess what? We don't talk about it. So we believe, and one of the British ways of doing things is shh, don't speak about it. Therefore, there's not a problem. Whereas Americans, they talk about everything, even when it's small. We don't talk about. We don't talk about things in which because it's a British cultural norm to not basically just get on with things and stiff upper lip type thing. That's why I think we have a bit of a different viewpoint. But go ahead.
Like Stop and Search, like I kind of debunked why black people get searched more than anyone else, but I'm not going to talk about that because that's off topic. But basically, it's in my opinion, yeah. If we were to have a black manosphere, well, we gotta do things differently, and we gotta do things differently from the start. That's how I see it.
Oh, I agree, and this is why I agree. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, like we got to do something from start. We got to not look at what America is basically doing. Like you got to do it your own way, like you said. But there has to be certain parameters and measures put in place before it's created, in my opinion, because then we're just gonna turn out to be exactly the same, and that manosphere or that space will be deemed as a negative space and not a positive one.
Yeah. And this is the reason why, again, when you look at some of the content creators here, they're leaving us the space, they're saying this, they're saying that, and this is the thing, isn't it? So what could be turned out to be what is meant to be positive thing then becomes into, as you said, a negative thing, and then it gets all the bad publicity, and then before you know it, when you get monetized, then it's like you have to go mainstream. You can't say certain things because you're going to lose certain sponsors, or you're not going to get monetization, or you're going to be labeled a hater and all that kind of other stuff. So it's one of those things where you just have to be. But then again, sometimes you can't be afraid to say what you need to say, isn't it? That's another thing where you have to be careful. If you're going to say these things, then you're going to have to understand you have to stand on it. Otherwise, what's the point in saying what you're going to say? You know what I mean?
Fiona is here.
But yeah, Fiona, yeah.
Hi, good night, both. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. Yourself?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Good, good.
I'm not going to stay long. I just came up to say a couple of things, and I agree with the both of you that the talking points of the podcast and things over here tend to be very general and very safe. So you're right. I don't think that we deal with things or discuss things in the same way as the US podcasters do. And I think with the whole Jessica X thing, I mean, I was joking in the chat saying that I think she's a dark-skinned black woman. I don't. I actually do think she's biracial. She sounds very Thandie Newton to me.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone else gets that vibe.
I can get it a little bit. I might have to listen to Tandy Newton again, but yeah, I think I can get that.
Yeah, she does. She does sound very Thandie Newton. I don't think. I do think she's biracial. I don't think her name's Jessica. But I think she would have garnered more respect probably if she'd have stayed in the UK market and talked about, issues that are facing UK women, women within the UK, women of colour. Even if she had changed her niche towards maybe black women in the UK, although maybe we just don't want that smoke. Having heard what she said about the black women in the US, probably safer for her not to do that. Seeing as she said that she does have black female friends and things like that, or black women friends. I don't want to use the word female too much, so I don't think it's very nice. But yeah, I just think that she she's seen the niche and she's just gone with it and gone with the wind. I was saying to someone in the chat, I don't know if she's even ever been over to the States. I don't know what sort of urged her to take on black women in the States, and I feel quite sorry for them because it just seems like everyone and their mother just kind of wants to wipe their feet with black women in the States. I think it's just a sad happening. I don't know what the both of you think.
I think.
Oh, go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead.
I think that, in my opinion, if you don't live in the States, in my opinion, I don't think people could criticize them. In my opinion, like maybe you could criticize them based off their talking points on the internet, but that's not really a good reflection of how black women are in the States. So this is why I don't really take what some of the black men say about black women in the States seriously, because I haven't lived there, I haven't experienced it over there, right? So, and the other thing as well is the reason why Jessica X probably went and talked about the black woman American struggle or whatever you want to identify it as, is because she sees that there's already something set up there for her to basically do well in, like basically black manosphere. So that's probably the reason why. And if she, say for example, did do like black women in the UK, it'll be a lot more difficult because there isn't an infrastructure there already. Maybe, and she's got to really build herself up before she could even get into those spaces where black women are, black women talk shows and or internet or YouTube internet talk shows in the UK. Is it the
size? Is it the size of the UK as well, and the fact that it seems so insular? Would she get away with some of the talking points that she uses towards black women here? And I actually wonder what she actually thinks of black women here, because the kind of things that I've heard her say, I wonder if because we have the same sort of issues, although we're not the same, we're more stiff upper lip, as you say, and we're kind of really covert in what's happening. We have the same number of black men dating out, well, maybe even at higher numbers, but it's all done very, black men have divested very quietly, and it's all done undercover, and there isn't much spotlight shone on that area. And yeah. I'm just surprised that she hasn't even focusing on the mixed race experience and focusing on her perception of although that even could be a bit controversial, her perception of what's going on, why her father chose the partner that he chose, digging into that biracial, that's another niche that I think would have been really, really interesting.
There's already one person doing it who's a lot more bigger, and her name is called Lynn May Talks. She talks a lot about the mixed race thing on the internet, because I think she's part Pakistani, part Barbadian. But
Yeah.
you were gonna say something. Why it matters. So I'll let you talk.
No. And she's more, again, she's mainstream as well. But to answer your question, Fiona, I think there's a few things with that. Is number one, as Jesse said, she was already in that market over there, so she was able to get a pull, and maybe her audience was, again, because it's all Americans, she just latched onto it, and that's why she probably focuses more on like American women, because that's what the audience wants to hear, as opposed to UK women. And I think I've heard her say that, oh, well, the issues is because people check her about, why don't you talk about black women in the UK, for example, or what your experiences are. And she's like, oh, well, it's this type of the same type of experiences. So she kind of used that as a cover to try and just continue on. And also, again, that's what I've heard her say. But in regards to why I think she doesn't, again, I think it's because the market, she can get away with it easier. I think it's definitely number one, because if she was to go after, because she's, again, her content's been just based on beef. She's attacked content creators left, right, and center. That's how she's her audience. If you look at all her videos are basically in reference to either an incident, a beef, a drama, or creating drama with divestors or Shira 7 or Chrissy or whoever it is on that space, Chris, whatever it is. So maybe it's easier
I guess I've just never understood. Did she live there for some time? Did she experience living in, I don't know, the Black American culture? Like, with King Richards, he says that he spent some time there. I mean, is that the case for her? I mean, I just don't, for someone to go that hard, I just don't understand what the end goal is. You're not resident in that country. I guess I just don't. I find it hard to understand. That's why I don't watch her content, because I find it hard to understand. I mean, if it's a black woman that's American, that's born and bred and lives amongst these communities, then I can understand. But with her, I guess it's just, I've always struggled to understand what the end goal was, really.
I mean, again, like I was saying at the start, I'm saying I've got no hate or shade to her at all. Again, if she is just just pandering, just so she, again, her audience is American black males. So if it's a case of she's doing it because that's what the audience want her to do, or that's really what she knows the audience like, and they're going to super chat, then keep it going, because that's what's paying.
Who knows? She might very well be a dark-skinned black woman. Who knows?
I mean, it would be hilarious. And the thing is, it's like, I know she won't cam up or anything, but it wasn't like you have to cam up all the time. It could be like one video here, one video. You know what I mean? Because like she already put an avatar picture of yourself, so I don't know. But maybe it's just too late now.
And that's to my and that segues into another one of my points. I mean, I think if she did make fun of the average at best woman, I think it is it is very much so hypocritical, because this woman and many other black women were brave enough to cam up on Kevin Samuel's show, and that actually made his show. And there was a point where I remember when I used to watch in the early 2020, when he would not have anyone on there that would not cam up, and these unambiguous, normal looking black women were brave enough to sort of cam up, even the average at best lady with her business and things like that, and the fact that she kind of took the mick out of that lady whose name was also Jessica, I just find that a bit hypocritical, that these women, I mean, I personally couldn't do it, and I just, I give all props to people that can have these conversations live on camera.
And that's another thing. That's why when it comes to the cam up stuff, it's like, I only agree with that point if you're disrespecting someone's looks to the point where, well, hold on, fair is fair, isn't it? It's a low blow for you to do that and talk about this and how they should be, a certain weight, a certain size, and all this kind of other stuff, which, again, it's a talking point. I get it. It's a talking point. But yeah, you're right. There comes a stage where if you're going to attack someone based on everything about them, they're going to know, okay, well, who are you? It's like when people ask KS about, are you married? The reason why they ask him that is not because they're trying to negate the talking point. It's because if you're an authority figure on these issues, we need to know at least your credentials in it. So if you're going to be an authority figure, then we have to check your credentials. Otherwise, why are people listening to you? That's how I see it. For certain things, it's like you can have an opinion, but it comes to a stage where we're going to have to find what are your credentials, and that may involve you have to cam up or whatnot. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I know her from her beef with Chrissy, because I've listened to that channel in the past, and Chrissy is a person who doesn't cam up, but neither does she kind of attack people either. And yeah, I just wonder, I mean, I know few things that she's mentioned. Jessica X, that is, that she earns a 6-figure salary, that she has quite a well-paying job. And by the way, these are all things that they say will disqualify women, but it doesn't disqualify her apparently. So yeah, there's a few things that she's mentioned about herself, but yeah, as you say, not very much. Yeah.
And that's it. And at the end of the day, again, it's if she's been able to flounder away, but if she's able to get away with it or continue on in the trajectory, then it is what it is. But I really don't know. It's something which, yeah, she's able to do it over there a lot more. I think another thing as well, we wouldn't tolerate. We would check a lot quicker and harder over here because we aren't going to get enamored by an accent and a mixed race woman who, again, like I said. She's not ugly,
dime a dozen.
Yeah, so there's no way near she can get away with that over here because
no.
That accent gonna fly. It ain't gonna work. We know that kind of stuff.
I mean, maybe a decade ago when there weren't as many mixed race people, when it was quite a phenomena to sort of see a mixed race woman or man walking down the street, and everyone would like sort of ogle at their green eyes and all this kind of thing. But now it's like, it's not, especially within London, it's not really a phenomena, is it? There's more probably biracial people than there are black young children in schools at the moment. So yeah, you're quite right. There's nothing sort of unique there, but I guess in the States for some reason, yeah, she's done quite well.
Yeah, it must be the voice, because even over in the States, I mean, they call it biracial, but even people like Halle Berry is classified as black. She's got a white mother from Liverpool, actually, funny enough. So I'm like, a lot of the celebrities over there who are pin-up, actually, if you go through their history and background, we will call them mixed, whereas they would say that they're black. So I'm like, all right, if you want to call them black, fine, but over here, you know what I mean, we'll call them a bit different. So
Vanessa Williams, those kind of people. So those are really the main things, main comments I wanted to make. I didn't really see the point in trying to dox or out her or going through all that. I mean, I understand it came out of emotion and the fact that Chris Logic felt attacked. As soon as she started speaking in that live, I knew straight away that the information was not accurate. And as you say, it would take someone that actually knows to sort of, I mean, is this something that she does in private? Does she live on her own? Is there anyone that knows that she's a YouTuber? All of these things, it would take someone in-house, I think, to, and I think even her voice is quiet. I think it is like a presentation voice, and it probably isn't the normal speaking voice. No.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I thought, again, I could be wrong. Obviously, I don't know every single black person, but generally speaking, when I speak to most black people, yeah, they may sound a little bit normal, formal, but I'm not. It's different. It's different. Yeah. So yeah, I think she puts it on, but again, it's like I call it findom, isn't it? The fandom, it works for them. They super chat her to Kingdom Come, so that's it works for her. So I can't complain. I can't argue with it. It works. So if it's not broken. Don't fix it. They say.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I really wanted to say. I'll stay up for a minute, but yeah, thank you.
No way. But this might be an open question or a loaded question, then, Fiona. But how do you sort of feel about her in terms of being, if she was to speak on black females issue even in the US or even the UK, would you feel certain different because she's not qualified because she's mixed, or would you feel like she has to tread carefully because that makes sense?
Yeah, I think it would be more interesting if she would speak more on things based here and on the stats and things relevant to the UK. For me, that would be more interesting. I would probably watch, even if everything she said wasn't in support of women. I think I'll be more inclined to watch because it'll be interesting and it would be talking points that I hadn't heard before. But with what she's doing over there, and it's just like sort of attack, and there's no kind of reason or logic behind it. I don't. She's not one of my favorites, to be honest. No.
No, fair enough. And again, I imagine most of her followers will be male. Again, like Lady, she follows Jess X, so there are females who do follow it, but yeah, you can tell by her audience and her talking points, it's likely to be more male friendly.
Yeah, and there needs to be something, I think, over here for black women as a sort of a space similar to like the Chrissies and you know, where you can sort of talk about different issues. But yeah, a lot of it seems to be very general topics, as you said. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And that's it. And that's where, again, I think our space is more mainstream. Again, I think a lot of our space is more, mentioned ZZ Mills, Lin Mai, who else? Dominica Samuels, a lot of that kind of ilk who talk mostly about conservative, well, I say politics, but they do delve into this sort of kind of piece, Sarah Garvey, but they're all mostly mainstream and it's not the same type of feel, which is why I think maybe we're just stylistically a bit different, which is why it doesn't work as it works over there. That's why I don't know if that's
perhaps that's for the best. having seen some of it, yeah, perhaps it's for the best. Having said that, yeah.
No, yeah. No, it's funny stuff. I don't know, Jesse, do you have anything to say? Because what I can do, I'll definitely end the streams getting to that time. I don't want to.
I've got nothing to really say now.
No, that's fine. But I will just address the chat. But please make sure that you like, subscribe, share if you are new. I don't say that often enough. But no, when I saw that video, that did make me crack up because yeah, if anyone understands anything about accents in the UK, you realize they're just not even remotely the same. I mean, Huddersfield of all places, I couldn't. It was that funny. So
well, she could have moved to Huddersfield. I mean, I could move to Manchester. I know a lot of Londoners actually that have moved up north, so it's feasible, but I just don't think it is.
True. And yeah, a lot of people do move around in general as well. So you're right. It's it could be, and obviously it's just a location that's being pinged. But it was like in 2009, and it's just like I don't know.
No, I don't think that's
things. And then when I saw the picture of the father, it's like the father wasn't black. The father looked, I want to say, Asian or something.
Mixed, yeah. It's definitely some sort of mixed. But no, I don't know. I don't know if that's her picture. I mean, I kind of think if it was her picture, people would kind of know who she is by now. Would have identified, you know, even if it was a school friend or an old college friend. You know what I mean? But I'm not sure if that's her correct picture.
Yeah, probably. Again, unless depending on, sometimes you think, again, it's a massive space YouTube, so a lot of people could just not be even aware of these spaces until it happens. So yeah, that's another thing as well. So, but yeah, I got zero clue. But no, it is interesting. And again, like I keep saying, she managed to get into space and she's solidified in that space. So big ups to her. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's all I want to say. But no, thanks for coming, both Fiona, Jesse, Lady A. Thanks for popping on. I do appreciate your viewpoints. And yeah, I'm just going to end the stream, and I'll probably see you again on the next one, which most likely is going to be next week. So unless everything else to say I want to wrap up with, I'll definitely end the stream.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
All right, take care,
Bye.
everyone. Thanks.
Bye.